Right. Welcome, everybody. Thank you all for bearing with me. Every once in a while, it decides to remove everybody's settings, and I love when that happens because I was confident everything was going to go well today. But my name is Mads. I am the host of The Top Shelf. Welcome to episode 5, in which we play Mecha Dudes. We'll get to that here in just a second, but we're going to go around the circle, go ahead and introduce everybody. Tell me, let's get a name, let's get a character name, let's go ahead and grab what you're drinking, and yeah, throw down. Let's start with Proper up in the top corner, and we'll just work our way clockwise.
Hello, my name is Proper Nerdy, or Proper. I'm a staff member at TPK Roleplay, and I make lots of pretty designs, including the video that you just watched.
Man, I was gonna thank you for that in a minute.
It's fine. This is my first time on Top Shelf, and actually the first time playing with JK in general, so that's gonna be fun. We're all playing the Robits, and we're introducing characters right now, right?
I mean, yeah, a little bit. Go throw down.
I'm playing Repaul the repair droid. He looks like a vintage 1950s robot for no reason, and has lots of random lights and dryer tube arms and claws and random nonsense. You know, as flashy as possible without being at all up to date. Over to you, Meg.
Hello, everybody. I am Meg Mysteria. You saw 3 of us last night, and we're back again. But
Can't get rid of us.
You're stuck with us. For the night, I am actually drinking Barefoot Moscato. That is peach flavored.
Nice.
But I'm going to be playing. I know it says Rayu on my screen, but I assure you it's pronounced Rhea. She is a humanoid android that pilots a mecha. So we'll see how it goes. She's probably the most human appearing in this group. We'll see. I'm playing a robot now, so I'm worried that Al's going to come for my life for revenge. But it's Magic's turn.
All right. What's up, everybody? I'm Dad Magic Juice. I am a droid by the name of FRND, the fucking real neat droid, and this is a larger humanoid concept that is still of the clearly robotic variety, but more sleek, kind of like a transformer look at first glance, and with like an all black, very emotionless sort of look, with a small screen on his chest. Imagine like your older, very old, like 9-inch screen TVs, that sort of screen.
Like a Teletubby.
Yeah.
I was gonna say definitely not like a Teletubby, but yeah, okay.
Definitely not, but definitely yes.
Al, you're up.
Very strong. Hello, my name is Al the Biffer, and this evening I will be playing PJ Hawthorne, of course. Here I am to delight you all. Now, last time I believe we played together, Mads, you killed my robot counterpart, and I believe currently Meg is in the process of destroying my android friend. So it is an absolute honor to be back with you all again. You can see, obviously, I am a human from my torso up. However, the reason I cannot show you my fine set of pins is because they are currently giant mechanized spider legs to operate my giant spider droid.
Excellent.
I'm sure we'll come into play at some point, but currently I am consuming the most wonderful dead man's fingers. It is a pineapple-infused rum, and I must admit, most delightful. Thank you.
So we've got some
Nice.
Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. We've got some Evangelion pilots. We've got some 80s robots and some fucking Terminators. It'll be good. We're in a good spot because Mecha Dudes is an interesting system. My name, again, you got my name at the beginning of it, but is Mads. I'm going to be your host and GM, and I am drinking a White Russian today because this has been moving and house renovation week, so something sweet and strong sounds great. Also, I got new geometric glasses, which are fun. I very much enjoy those. But
Nice.
the fun part about Mecha Dudes is it is a single-page tabletop written by the Highland Paranormal Society. And sadly, we could not get the developer of it, on the stream with us tonight. He was going to be, but he had some other things to take care of. So we're going to get him at a different point, because he makes some wild stuff. But this one specifically caught my eye because it's a single page. It's basically just a character sheet. And as you get down to the bottom of it, like, it reads, the GM runs them through an official D&D adventure that was illegally obtained. So, in the spirit of the nature of the game, we're going to be playing Curse of Strahd with 4 wildly weird characters, and we're just going to bastardize a beloved D&D campaign. To everybody who plays it regularly on TPK, specifically for Luca, who put all of the effort and just, time of her life into this game, I am forthright sorry for anything that happens on this stream.
No, you're not.
Because, no, I mean, okay. In the nature of the stream, I kind of am, because I'm not a Curse of Strahd guy. I've never run it officially before, and I love the concept of Gothic Earth D&D stuff, but this will be a complete bastardization of something a lot of people on TPK love. So take it with a grain of salt. I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings.
Does the apology count if she's not in the chat?
I mean, I'm going to say the apology anyway, because it makes me feel better, and hopefully it means something. But, oh yeah, and I absolutely, maybe that's where the illegally obtained comes in. Last HP wanted to make a note that I had to cheat off of somebody else's notes. He, in as many thank yous as I can provided me, like, just the best series of Spark notes on Curse of Strahd that I could have possibly obtained. He wrote them all out for me and sent them over, so he is a gem and a scholar. I very much appreciate it.
Excellent.
But you all are Mecha Dudes, an intergalactic, extra-cosmic, ultra-planar group of justice-seeking robots of various forms that have been collected from various times and planes and portions of the multiverse to take out threats to, the existence of sentient life. I can't say humanity because D&D has too many races, but all of them you're set to protect, and your current task is to find and apprehend the monster that is Strahd von Zarovich, a horrible ancient vampire filled with dark power who resides in the demi-plane of Barovia, where nobody goes in and nobody comes out. So you all are warped in to this planescape of gothic cloudy skies and probably too much rain. A terrible, horrible air of just despair washes over any of you who can feel. And as you pop in, you end up at the or just outside of the gates of Vallaki, which is the largest city within Barovia. They think they're safe within their walls and strong gates and their guards keeping watch, but nobody's truly ever safe. Everybody is familiar with Strahd and the power that he holds over Barovia, and Strahd, residing in his castle, knows of the power that he holds over Barovia. You guys weren't really aware of any particular landing point of this space, and you have limited knowledge on the terrain and the region, so it is up to you guys to proceed from there. Now, out of curiosity, just before we proceed, because I personally should make notes of this, how tall are all of you currently? Like, how big are y'all?
Great question.
If you were to translate my likeness to like a human person IRL, we'd be looking at like a 7.5 foot, 350-pound dude.
Okay. Do you look like a person? Like, are you skinned?
No. Think like a transformer in their humanoid form, but
Okay.
smaller. Yeah.
Got it.
I would say RuPaul is about 6 feet, about 6 feet tall.
Okay.
So generally, human-sized, not at all human-shaped.
Fair enough.
I
So
guess I would be
R2D2.
about the size of a man sat down as if his chair was giant spider legs.
So, appropriate.
These are the wheelchairs we so deserve in today's society.
Wow,
With
we got
giant
it.
spider legs.
Yes.
Meg, what about yourself?
Someone in the chat also just wrote, "Can't wait to see RuPaul drag racing," and I'm losing it.
Every time you say your name is RuPaul, and it doesn't help that I've been watching Trixie and Katya nonstop. But anyway, okay. So Rhea is about 5'8", about the average size for a human female.
And you're the only one who looks like a human female. Like, you are
Yes,
a passing person, basically.
She is passing person. The only real differentiation is that there is a bit of a glow to the eyes and lining in the notable features. So, like
Nice. We got
cheekbones, mouth, joints on the hands, arms, etc.
some fun cyberpunk 2077
Yeah.
tech work.
Yeah.
Very nice. All right, so you show up outside the gates of Valaki, and the session is yours to discuss or adventure as you will.
RuPaul will take a few clunking steps forward. Every step is a and he extends his weird extendo arms and like hobbles around for a second with lights going off and inexplicable beeping for no reason, and reports back to the group, "Danger. Sky is filled with toxic water. Make sure you are waterproofed for the following mission."
As you say that, I have not actually said anything yet, but you'd see like a blue sad face flash on the little screen on my chest, and then off, and then on again, and then off.
I love it so much.
I pull like a small, like little brass lever at his side, like almost like a little handbrake, chunk, and from the back, just a tiny parasol, it's like, and it opens in a little cylinder, like, just round, and then the exhaust, just a big black cloud of smoke, just like, well, that should take care of any slight downpour we may have.
This is already wonderful. I love it.
So I'm gonna be the basic bitch and say I just have an actual hood.
Using the same phrasing as before, you're also the only one who's actually skinned, so a little bit of water probably doesn't hurt you.
True.
There you go.
It's like this is. You all could really do with some upgrades.
Upgrades. There is not the efficient amount of money in the coffers for upgrades to my system currently.
As you say
Well,
that,
quite correct. We do not need to be splashing any of our hard-earned investment on personal gain when it could reside so sweetly in a bank account rather than being used on things such as a public health service, you understand?
I've already been designed as the ultimate hunter concept. I have no need for upgrades.
as you finish your statement, the probably wood and brass pillar that is holding up PJ Hawthorne's parasol, you all see a crossbow bolt fly past you and wedge itself into the base of this parasol, and a little ways into the distance is an individual, long trenched coat, male, kind of scruffy, looks like he's doing what he's very much an imposing, trying to be intimidating as he's walking straight forward, reloading his crossbow. You guys are about 150, 200 feet out from any of the walls of this city, by the way. He's coming from away from the city, and he looks at the four of you and he goes, "Aye! What is this? You more monsters from out."
Lights will flash in RuPaul's brain for an exorbitant amount of time, and a cassette reel will start like reeling in the middle of it, just like that weird whining sound of something running, and then a printout on dot matrix paper will come out of Repaul's front area as he like scans the area for what's happening at the moment.
PJ just his spider legs are
He
just gonna
can't.
start
He
going
can't read it.
towards his-
You need to
Junk,
read the.
I'll take the paper. What does it say?
junk. And then he'll take the paper and rip it off. And it sort
I
of
love it.
unfolds.
It just says basic stuff. He has no idea.
The-
Most of the parameters are just NA, 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 and then like danger of subject high.
So another crossbow bolt's gonna go straight through the paper as you're holding it up and fly right past you. And he's gonna go, "Those first two were warning shots. I need answers. Keep away from the city."
At that second one, I would point up my right arm, and my entire fist would like fold in on itself out into like a small cannon facing that direction.
Good God.
Can we at
would
least
say,
try some
understand
diplomacy
the concept of a warning shot. I would advise we do not repeat the action or escalate further. And the little face flashing on my screen now is like a red angry.
Red angry face.
I can assure you that we will not cause harm without being provoked. You said not to go to the city. Why not?
Depends on answers. I asked who all four of you were. So far, I've gotten questioning looks and some strange whizzing from that one.
The whizzing continues.
I do apologize that I did not make my formal introductions, and I'll start to like spider walk towards him,
Oh,
like
no.
junk.
He's gonna take some
And then
like
he's gonna-
tentative steps back, another crossbow bolt notched.
Now, I believe I have one of
Hand
my
on a hilt.
business cards in here somewhere for you, my good. Ah, there it is. And I'll like pull out like a little business card.
He's gonna stop for a second. He goes, "What's that?"
Well, this will be my formal introduction to yourself and a possible investment opportunity for you. You seem like quite a capable young man.
Take two quick steps forward, rips the card from you, and backs up. And what does the card read?
It just says, PJ Hawthorne, Union Pacific Railroad and Spider Mech Limited.
I have no fucking clue what any of this is. But if you're not a threat, my name is Van Richten.
Well, Mr. Richten, Van, if you please, it is a delight to make your acquaintance. Would you be able to possibly give such weary travelers like ourselves the lay of the land, so to speak, here? Hmm?
Depends on what you're after.
We're after target 722, designation Strahd.
His look kind of shifts, and he lowers the point of the crossbow a little bit, and he goes, "Why?"
He was deemed a threat, and we are here to deal with it.
Oh, I'm sorry, you asked why?
Right.
I
then
completely
Fred
missed that.
answered.
Repaul starts printing a list of all of the transgressions that
Here's
Strahd has
the
made against the races of this planet.
He's gonna look at you. He's really just kind of confused at the fact that you are just like spilling parchment out of the front of you, and gonna be like, "Well, you're an odd bunch, but if you're after Strahd, and Strahd knows you're after Strahd, he'll find you soon enough. Who sent you?"
Do we have a name of?
I
they
think we're
good?
just Mecha
Are they-
Dudes corporate or something, aren't
Yeah,
we?
you are part of the Mecha Dudes. That is its own
Okay.
organization in this.
You mean to say you haven't heard of us? Our name doesn't strike fear into the hearts of many and joy into the others and friends of justice, for we are the Mecha Dudes! Does that not
Beep, boop.
And
well?
women.
And also woman.
You know,
Dudes has become a gender fluid term in the 32nd century.
I get the feeling that this isn't the
I don't-
32nd century for them.
I
It
can't
seems a
see.
rather primitive continent.
Look. If you're looking for Strahd, I can take you towards the castle. Put you on the road at least. I've been scouting the place myself for similar purposes, but have yet to be able to get close.
Well, then any information you would like to share with us would be helpful.
What dangers do you foresee?
You haven't been in Barovia long, have you? Everything's
Just
dangerous
arrived.
here.
Approximately 127 seconds. 28, 29, 30.
I got the
Okay,
point.
you can stop.
Follow. Keep quiet. Try not to be too conspicuous.
I should not imagine
Hawthorne,
that
was
would
it?
be a problem. Yeah.
Just as long as you don't speak, you could probably blend in pretty well here. We've
Oh,
got,
that is not a problem at all. I assure you, I will be as silent as the very grave itself, the very gravest of graves, the dark and murky of graves. Come along, fellows!
There's a crazy... Christ. Look, if anybody asks you specifically, there's an abbot who runs a monster factory around here. You can say you're one of them. The rest of you, just find a fucking hood. Let's go. And he's gonna start walking in a direction away from the front of Valaki, heading towards the castle home to Strahd. Are you all following?
Slowly, but yes.
Yes, and at Al's mention of the clicking and thunking of his spider legs, you would all note for the first time probably that my footsteps are like ungodly dense. Just this massive thud and shake in a small area around me. Like, clearly I am super, super heavy.
Yeah, leaving little craters as you walk that are filling with the rain as it's coming down. In an already pretty track-marked road of all of the different wagons and things that have passed through and dug through the mud. But you guys are leaving your own trail that is not super hard to follow.
Between all the clunking and the pistons shifting and the hydraulics in all of our systems, Repaul will say, I do believe that stealth will be of utmost importance.
You don't say.
Well, of course, I could not agree more. I often preach on the virtues of a stealthy approach, of being as silent as is possible so that no one may be able to hear you sneaking up upon them persons.
At the mention of stealth, I'll take like a pause, look down at like behind at the craters I've made, and then just keep walking with the exact same cadence and progression. Yeah.
Perfect. So
I'm gonna catch up with our guide here and strike up a conversation, just asking. So you said you have been scouting here already.
yes, looking over the castle.
What do
Trying
you
to
know?
find a way in, a weak point, something to stop Strahd's madness. Most of the people of Barovia are complacent, to say the least. They'd rather seek to fulfill Strahd's wishes and avoid the consequence than to stand up against him. Most people will even go as far as to defend the madman, but I know better. And nobody here has the gumption to be able to take him out but myself.
Is it really that powerful to have a whole country at his will.
How do you kill somebody who can't be killed? How do you kill somebody who can hear on the wind and the wolves and even the folk in town? He knows everything. He's part of the land. Everything he is, everything we're passing. He knows where we are even by now.
Does not compute. Cannot be a living being and be part of the planet.
My archives do not cover such magic.
Oh,
Magic,
he's not
sir.
talking literally. It is much more metaphorical. It is one of those there riddles. The answer is, of course, yesterday.
He looks at you and he goes like, "No, son.
Oh.
It's not, there's no riddle. Your friend mentioned magic and it's a dark sort. Everything here is under that same dark, horrible plague. Nobody leaves Barovia. Not that I've ever seen. And those folks who do manage to make their way in lose themselves to the place and end up just a part of the populace."
As dark and dreary as Van Richten's speech gets, my flash changes from angry back to like a blue sad face flashing on the screen.
I'm just picturing those LED masks on TikTok where people's expressions change.
It's a lot like that. Yep.
Perfect.
I love how serious you are and how unbelievably unserious that is.
That is the exact juxtaposition I'm going for.
So, as you all are walking and he's just kind of very short answering these questions, he raises a fist and he goes, Hold. And he looks around, and at the edge of the wood on the side of the road coming up, you can hear not my phone going off. Hold on.
Are we sure? Is it not a
Chimes,
message
play in the
from
distance.
Mecha Dudes?
Yeah, and
Recall, keep that inside. Keep that
I
inside.
believe one of you is making some sort of connection with the main base.
you found a Wi-Fi
Hello?
hotspot. No, you can hear footfall, a lot of them, light, fast, and probably half a dozen wolves break the side of the wood and come barreling towards you. Van Richten, with the same kind of keen hearing that he had in the hand that he had raised, still holding that crossbow, he spins and takes a shot going right through the skull center eyes of one of them, and it hits midair and kind of skids into the mud. But the other 5 begin racing towards the 5 of you as Van Richten begins to reload his crossbow.
Danger, Mecha Dudes! Danger! Danger!
You'd hear a little bit of like the electronic sounding whirring and calculating going on from my chassis, I guess. And I would say, Wolverine, designation, hunter class, pack movements, pack attacks, move. And I would, out of my calves, would jut out a couple of small rocket boosters, and I would like jut to the side with a flash of fire out of those to sort of spread out from the group of us.
Okay. Give me roll for logic.
Logic. Okay, I have 1 for that. It is a 6.
Okay. A 6. So you do so, and you are, as much as you want to believe that you are well equipped for the rain and in need of no upgrades, the mud has caked the portions of the sides of your legs where those things should eject from, and they kind of like some of them open up properly, and as they go off, you kind of veer improperly, and one of the wolves just strikes you in the air, taking you to the ground, now pounced on top of you.
Okay.
What's everybody doing?
Repal does not have any ability to cause violence, not
Oh, God.
intentionally built into him. And so the only thing he can do is he opens up his front plating, and out extends like a repair drill on a big spindly long metal arm, and just like he like points it menacingly as he possibly can towards the wolves, but he does back up behind Rhea and PJ.
Roll for
Out
heart.
the front of PJ's like out the front of his little kind of thing that he's strapped into, a little extended, just like a little nozzle comes out, and just from it a little lighter, and,
God.
and he just gets a cigar and puts it in front of it and just goes, "We appear to have some kind of problem."
I rolled 2 on heart.
2. That was your highest or your lowest roll.
Yes.
Okay. So an overall success of backing up, but you're definitely not in a position to be particularly helpful at the moment. Rayu, what are you up to? Rhea, sorry. Rhea.
I don't know if you have donations up. I'm giving a chat a friendly reminder that -2s are the good thing here.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, -2s are great. +2s are rough.
Oh, are we doing those?
We are now.
Okay.
Way to
Sweet.
remember,
I
Meg.
didn't know if you turned it off or not, so I was making
Nah.
a note in the chat.
I'll take.
So-
I'll roll with whatever happens.
It's a bit of a fuck it kind of night, so
Absolutely.
I the fuck
I don't know what
not.
you mean.
I'm not ready for the Deus Machina shit yet. So Rhea is just going to, once we'd heard the footfall of the packs coming in, 2 blasters attached to the side of her legs. She raises them and goes to take shots at a couple of the wolves.
Okay, roll for violence.
That is a 1.
Very nice. 2 blasters. You said you were shooting at a couple of the wolves, so
Yeah.
one of them knocks down your Terminator friend. Your Reapall backs up behind you. You pull out 2 of these blasters from the sides of your thighs, fucking like Robo Star-Lord style, and just eviscerates 2 of these wolves. Very large, craterous, cauterized holes, clean through them, as both of them skid into the ground smoking.
Nice.
Why am I damage dealer here?
fuck shit up, Meg. Go
Do
wild.
it. Do it.
Is this what
Sorry.
Nif feels like in Destroyer? Okay.
Okay, the wolf that is on top of you, friend, is trying to tear through plating, but has not gotten anywhere yet. We've got 3 more present. So one of them is going to find purchase against Van Richten, who comparably is soft, and takes a chunk out of the side of his upper arm of his crossbow shooting hand, and you can hear him kind of bellow out as he kicks this wolf off. Fires a shot, but it hits the mud, just missing the wolf.
So I would, if I may,
Yeah.
I'm going to basically use one of my 2 hands to like grab at the wolf on top of me,
Mm-hmm.
and if I may, simultaneously, my other arm, which was still in this like cannon formation, the barrel of the cannon would extend and get smaller and smaller as the longer it extends into about like a 2-inch final extension or
Okay.
diameter at the end of its extension, and like a small emits out of it as I shoot at the one that's attacking Van Richten.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and roll for violence.
There's a 2 and a 3.
Okay. So you take a shot. It clips the wolf. No dice there though. It is still kind of circling. It spins a little bit to pay mention to you, but you've still got a wolf on top of you, so it turns and snarls and moves back at Van Richten. You guys, there is no initiative here. You guys are just free to just call shit out.
Oh,
Just do
oh,
whatever.
where?
Okay, I'm just checking.
I'm aware. I'm
We're
used to,
used to
Monster Week,
going.
so-
I just don't want to end up like going on a monologue of all the violent shit I want to do and not give opportunities to other people to do things.
Oh, sure. I mean, table courtesy for sure, but like, this is
If it's cool, go
Imagine-
for it.
playing loosey goosey here. Yeah.
Save our poor boy Paul.
Okay, so
Speaking
then
of which-
if nobody else doing anything yet,
I got-
that other wolf, I would be like trying to just like smash it into the ground with the hand that I grabbed in it.
Yeah, give me another roll.
It was a 3 and a 2 again.
3 and a 2 again. So you throw this wolf off. Again, no purchase, but it's enough for you to be able to stand up. Get your bearing. You are no longer held to the ground by this one wolf. No dice on a return attack on that. Oh, God. Although, the one who you kind of clipped, lunges again at Van Richten, who, for whatever reason, he's having an off day.
Uh-oh.
He gets like spear
Poor dude.
tackled in the side, just headbutted by this wolf and knocked into the mud, and you can see him and the wolf go skidding into the mud as he's now kind of wrestling with the maw as it's on top of him now.
So, who's currently being attacked?
So Van
It's-
Richten has a wolf on top of him. Friend has a wolf that is kind of engaged with him. The other two are kind of circling, trying to pay mind to what looks like a threat or what is worth attacking. They haven't picked targets, but they seem to be kind of waiting for an opportunity closer to Van Richten than the rest of you.
So there was 4 total left? I thought there were 3.
You were right. There are 3 left. So the other one
Okay.
would be more kind of circling the one that has already injured Van Richten. There's a smell of blood in the air, and that kind of pack tactic is following.
Good. So then I will try to follow up and help deal with this one that Van Richten's got going on.
Okay.
The boy is human. I can't fix that if he dies. And let's see. That is a 2.
There's a 2. Okay.
Yes.
So you move forward and taking purchase with both of your blasters towards the front of this wolf. You've still got a little bit of time left to charge either of those blaster shots that were oh so damaging the last time. Think better of waiting and just kind of backhand this wolf with the butt of one of these blasters, kind of sending it off of the top of Van Richten, and he nods at you silent and broodingly and stands back up, kind of you can see his bad arm as he holds it, and he kind of clips the hand crossbow onto basically a small hook on the side of his belt, and like inverts his other hand and pulls out a short sword, bracing himself. He's going to make a return attack. Let's see what that was. Jesus, he's not doing good. He takes a swing. That wolf is not having it.
Repaul will attempt to grapple the wolf that is attacking our guide here.
Okay.
Repaul has 2 very large and clunky red pincer hands, so he's going to attempt to grab the wolf whichever way he can, basically.
Okay.
Are they like power loader hands?
Of course, they're
Yes.
stupidly.
Kind of slower than they should be pneumatically.
Yeah, they can hold a lot though.
Yeah.
Like, they have no sense of like how strong they're doing anything, so they're not at all helpful. But he's
Okay.
going to attempt to pull the wolf off of Van.
I'll make you. I'll give you a roll for. Oh, you're trying. Roll for heart for me.
It's a 1.
Hey. So he takes a swipe with the sword. The wolf kind of circles him and ends up between you, like facing Van Richten. Between you and Van Richten, you kind of just clamp onto the haunches of both of his back legs, and now this wolf is doing like trying to run like you were in a wheelbarrow race, but like his front legs aren't finding any purchase because his back legs can't do anything. So he's He's just kind of treadmilling in the mud.
Yeah, I can't really harm him, but I am just like lifting him up and kind of as I
Perfect.
hobble around, hold on to him.
Just
how
walking
many-
around with your new pet wolf.
Pretty much.
PJ's gonna like slowly chomp forward to where this wolf's being held, and he's just gonna take out a newspaper and just start.
Roll for violence, PJ.
Oh no, I'm not very violent.
Oh no.
It's a 5.
Oof. Yeah. So I mean,
Oh,
you
I
impact.
had a thing from chat. I get a reroll or advantage.
Yeah. Go
You
ahead and
what?
re-roll that.
There you go.
It was a 6. No, I'll take the 5.
Perfect. Yeah. So you start swatting. You impact this wolf, but it does exactly what you would assume it would going to do, and you end up just kind of buckling the half of the newspaper as it's hitting with no actual effect. The wolf is going to spin and grab the newspaper, and just kind of tear it from your hand and drop it to the mud. Now paying direct attention to you. So Friend's got one on him, Van Richten's got one on him, and PJ has now got one very directed at him. As you do,
This is being held in place.
you can all hear more footfalls from the distance, from the road in the mud. They sound like hooves. But proceed.
So the one that's on me, I'm forgetting. Is it like on me?
No,
like
it's doing the same kind of circle wolf thing that wolves do.
Oh, okay. So I would get a sort of like from this hunched over position I was in the first place. I would sort of sit up and tilt my head a little bit, and the little screen on my chest would start flashing a green question mark.
Okay.
And I would just sort of extend this cannon arm at it and give a little pew, pew,
Okay.
with a more like casual, just sort of like holding my arm out, trying to hit it sort of thing.
All right. Yeah. Give me a violence. That's kind of what you do.
There's a 4 and a 1.
4 and a 1. All right. That's still a 1. So you take a couple shots. A couple of them leave small kind of energized craters smoking in the earth as you've or dried out some of this mud. But you take a shot and it just singes clean through this wolf, and he skitters to the ground, kind of slumps head first, just nose into the mud, and falls limp. As you do, you can hear a horse ominously whinnying or neighing as it's in full gallop down the road. And on the back of it, you can see a royal-colored, very Victorian-garbed, black-haired man, hands on... oh, God, they're not stirrups. What is the thing? The reins. There we go. Thank you. On the reins, just like full whip towards the front of the horse as this horse is barreling forward, jet black. The mane of this horse and the tail is all appears to be fire. The other two wolves, let's see. Okay, no purchase towards Van Richten and no purchase towards PJ. But as they hear this and they can see, they're hearing the same things you are. They take kind of final attacks until the sound of these hooves get too close, and they kind of back up and start to peel off back into the wood, a little slow, a little apprehensively, very much paying attention to what is going on. But do retreat from the conflict. Van Richten, hearing the same noise, seeing the fire in the distance, looks at the four of you and he goes, we had no time to wait. That's him. Prep. Or don't, but stand your ground. And he's gonna, best he can with a torn up arm, just kind of white knuckle that short sword of his.
Are you certain it's in your best interest to stay?
It's in nobody's best interest to stay, but at least if I have assistance, maybe we can finish this thing.
At this point, Repaul is going to attempt to get rid of the wolf that is still within his claws.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, one of them's trying to run. The other one did run away. This one's kind of whining now because he's still trying to leave, but he cannot.
Yeah, no way he's getting away. Have all the rest of them left, or is anyone still trying?
Yeah, the rest of them have left.
Perfect, lovely. Repaul is going to chuck this as best as he can at the oncoming horses.
Just spins at his central axis and just whoop. Go ahead and roll logic for me.
I would love to. That's a 1 and a 5. Ha ha.
Goddamn, son. All right. So, watching this and watching this wolf whine, and these are big wolves, you kind of spin with just like full top wind up, give a couple turns before you find purchase.
Like full body
Like
is
a
pivoting.
Like the whole thing is spinning. Legs in place as you let go of this wolf, and it flies and kind of turns in the side so it hits the two front legs of this nightmare steed broadside, and sends the man on its back sailing from its stirrups probably a good 7 or 8 feet before you see, just in a puff of black smoke, he just kind of vanishes and reappears at the same vector that he would have landed, but on his feet a little ways behind you, just kind of standing and readjusting his cuffs. And he looks at the 4 of you and he goes, or 5 of you, and he goes, "Good to see you again, Richten. The rest of you I'm unfamiliar with, but I was told by... Well, I have my sources, but you are looking for me."
A pleasure to meet you, my boy. Let me find my business card. It's in here somewhere.
On this-
PJ Hawthorne.
While he's doing that, we're Deus marketing.
Okay, as you decide to do that, we'll get that description in here in just a minute. It's been about an hour since we started. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to start trying to fuck up Strahd, I guess. We'll be right back, folks. Stick around, because this shit can only get wilder. Welcome back, folks. We are... We're doing some shit. It's a whole thing. This is the top shelf. We're back from intermission. We are playing Mecha
Hello.
Dudes, which Mecha Dudes translates to, we're going to put robots in whatever campaign from D&D we so fit. And today we've decided to throw in for Curse of Strahd. So far, we've met Van Richten. He's gotten his arm chewed on by a wolf. A couple of wolves got laser blasted. And now they are facing down Strahd on a muddy road to his castle. He has ostentatiously corrected his cufflinks and is facing down the 5 of you, as Rhea has made a small home call upward. Go ahead and make a logic roll for me.
What do you do when you don't have anything checked into logic?
That's a good question. Let's say instead of a D6, we're going to make that a D12. No, that's too much. We're going to make that a D8, because I'm not a horrible person. But you still have to get a 1.
Congrats, it's a 1.
Was it actually?
It was actually a 1.
Shit.
Like,
Did I say a D8 or a D10?
you said a D8.
Well, it's a D8 now. I meant to say D10, but it's a D8
It's
now.
canon now.
Yep.
Well,
apparently.
I still had a -2, so.
All right, so, you just send out a little silent ping as Strahd is watching and staring you all down up into the stratosphere where your ship is circling the relative abyssal space surrounding this particular demiplane, and you all recognize the sound, and it is meteoric, as this very large metal drop pod impacts probably 200 feet out of the way, just leveling a good number of trees in the woods aside you. You can hear one of the wolves who was fleeing. You can hear that kind of yelp scream as he probably got bouldered into by rubble or a tree or perhaps the thing itself. But
That's one threat taken
your
care
your care package is waiting, Rhea.
All right. As that comes up, you guys would probably recognize it from either the other mecha pilots or just her specifically. Just the second Strahd shows up, made his appearance behind them. She's got her wrist up and just typed something in, and the call goes out, and she starts walking towards wherever this drop zone's gonna be.
Strahd, let me see here. Give me a moment. I gotta pull up his. I do actually have the book. I'm not like solely working off of HP's notes, but like, give me a minute.
You have the book? How dare you? This is supposed to be a stolen campaign.
It's not my book. It's my roommates, and they don't know I took it.
Oh,
So please
there we go.
continue. Tell me how I didn't steal it.
Oh man.
HP is given a +2 to the next person to attack Strahd.
Whoa.
All right. So let's see.
It's all going wrong.
He's gonna look in the direction that you are kind of walking into the wood and kind of snap and wave, and cast animate objects that direction, and both of the trees that you would have just passed between just kind of drop branch and clothesline your space and kind of push you back towards the road. And Strahd looks at you and then back at your friends, very much unfazed by any of this, and he goes, I'm sorry, I didn't say any of you could leave yet. Commotion in the wood or not, I am curious what you're after, if you're, searching for me.
Please identify target 722.
Oh, now you're being coy.
Nice.
He bows and gives a full flourish, and he goes, I am Baron Strahd von Zarvik. If you would be so kind as to introduce yourselves.
Target 722, you are wanted for crimes against this land. Please, come with us, or in no harm shall become of you.
You're asking very nicely for a waste bin.
Go ahead.
I am not a waste being. I am a repair droid from the Mecha Dudes Incorporated.
Uh-huh.
As he responds in that fashion, I would turn and fully directly face Strahd, and my screen would open up and a large net would fly out, intending with the smoke like jettison effect, and I'm intending to capture Strahd in this net. Okay. And I would look over at Paul, and I would say, you stole my line.
My apologies, my friend.
Roll logic for me, friend.
Okay, I do have 1 on that. It is a 2.
Okay, so you fire it forward, looking like it's going to hit Strahd square, and he pulls the same trick that he did before and just kind of immaterializes into the same kind of black smoke and just mists back in front of it as it passes straight through him and hits the ground. He goes, now, your friend there said that I could come willingly and no harm would come of me. That seemed a bit aggressive. I can leave if that is what you choose, but you're, not out of earshot. Should you need me again, I see that I'm unwanted willingly. And he starts just kind of walking back through you, heading towards his horse.
Oh.
If you run, you shall be hunted down. We have been giving priority access to deadly force.
Sure. That's fine. You can come say hi at the castle, I suppose. But I don't appreciate the welcome wagon that you all brought out for me. So you can meet me on my home turf or, try to kill me here, it does not matter. And he just kind of keeps walking towards his horse.
I fuck it. I fire at the horse. Like,
Oh shit!
arm
shit!
cannon,
Kill the
just-
horse!
the big arm cannon now, like the extension, like retracted, and now we're on the big, like it's 3 feet wide hand cannon thing. Just. Poof.
All right, roll some violence.
I feel like we all owe Sir Heck an apology for this violence against animals.
Listen, this
Yeah,
is
I
fuck it
apologize
mode
for
role
literally
play.
This whole session, I'm sorry for anything that happens here. To Heck, to Luca, to all of you that I love so much in the Discord, like.
We're having the time of our lives, but.
So that's a 4 and a 2.
A 4 and a 2.
Yes.
Okay. It does not take you long to realize that this horse is kind of an immaterial conjuration, and you take a full shot towards it, and it impacts, and it, breaks through the material form of the horse, just shattering the side of it. But it kind of reforms into its same conjured specter that it is.
My screen would start flashing the blue sad face again.
At this point, like, foot in the stirrup, Strahd gets back on the horse, and he's like, that was, again, very rude. If you want to try and actually talk this out, you can find me in my castle. And he's gonna just kind of take the reins and, veer the horse back around, and just like, goodbye. I'll send some more wolves after you if you need some company.
I'd look back at the group and say, my database does not contain information on these abilities.
I'm sure it's a metaphorical frame of speaking. This is, of course, some sort of riddle. The wolf, of course, means our own self-doubt, and the answer is yesterday. We should perhaps follow these recent hoof prints I can see in this here mud all the way to that there castle.
The rain has also
May I
let up a
interest
little
you
bit, so
in
you are...
some wonderful fatty treats along the way. I happen to have kept a gross array of snacks on my person that only seems to come in an inhumane size.
I'm sorry, what?
None of my robo friends would like any of my delicious chicken that I have arranged. It is quite okay. I shall peruse my selection of various herbs and spices as I so please. Now, shall we?
This chassis has no need for sustenance.
Oh. Well, there is enough grease and oil on all this delicious food to keep you well mandible, I shouldn't wonder. I can rub it into your various crevices should you wish, but, it may impede our slow movement this far.
Damn it, I'm trying to play a serious character here, man.
I might have sidetracked us so bizarrely.
PJ, that is my role in this group, is to ensure the validity of all parts and materials of our friends. I think your chicken is not appropriate for the mechanics of Rhea or FRND.
Van
Are
Richten's...
you from the Food Standards Agency to call my chicken inappropriate?
Van Richten's looking at all four of you, and he's like, no fucking clue what you're all talking about, but you just let him walk off. I thought this was your full task. You came here for that, and you stopped. And he's going to turn, and he's going to start marching, like, just sheathing the sword as much as he's can kind of half bandage his arm as he's running through the mud, now no longer raining and worsening, but heading towards the castle. It's like, follow if you want, I don't give a fuck anymore.
Repaul will, I would say run to catch up, but that is not what Repaul can do.
Roll aggressively.
Yes, he will walk as quickly as possible to catch up with Van.
I'm still
As a
imagining
repair
the
droid,
power loader.
he feels the need to repair our relationship.
Oh.
Aww.
Give me a heart roll, Repaul.
Okay. It's a 1.
Very
Oh.
So
long legs
Repaul-
and an injured Van Richten does not means that it's not terribly hard to catch up to him. You kind of stomp your way through the mud, and it's not slowing you down just based on sheer weight of your B-grade science fiction movie form as you manage to shamble your way over.
Maybe C.
Yeah, I mean, you make your way up to Van Richten. Are you saying anything in particular?
Yeah, I'm going to say, do not worry. We will catch him in the end. We have never been a failure so far, and we shall catch up with our target. We appreciate all that you have done thus far.
Perhaps you can enhance my archives on this magic.
He's kind of stopped.
All
at this
known
point, so you
records
guys
to
could've-
date point that magic is not real.
Oof.
What type of science is this man using?
Science holds no
Again?
boundaries over Strahd. But if you're looking for information, I can at least pass some along. Rhea, sorry.
I was just gonna make a comment about, again, this is a completely different world. But
Oh, yeah.
since I have a minute, just after the trees had come down, she just like looks at that and says, well, that's an inconvenience. And then goes her wrist with the data pad again, and then just crouches to a knee and with a very forceful leap into the air, that mech disassembles from the pod itself and comes rushing out, and she is just encapsulated in the head of this very Evangeline looking
Okay.
mecha.
How tall? Are we
So-
talking like 80
You
feet?
you said that the pod was about 200, so imagining
No,
the
you were about
casing
200
itself.
feet away.
Oh,
from
200
it.
feet
Not,
away.
Not
So
height-wise, yeah.
yeah, probably closer to about 70, 80 feet.
Okay. That's totally fine. So
It's big.
you give this android leap into the air and just seamlessly anime style collide very comfortably into the cockpit as it kind of does
Dramatic
a football
J-pop
spiral
music
through
starts
the air.
playing in the background.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You get like full Japanese subtitles as you get the opening title sequence for just a whole bunch of supercuts of you guys doing cool shit.
It's
And
like
then
a whole
Nice.
magical
all,
girl
like,
transformation.
yeah.
That cloak just forms into a bodysuit.
Yeah, Repaul's making those puffy pancakes that everybody likes, like in one of the side shots. But
I
as this
don't
thing
anticipate
lands,
this.
I mean, everybody, this is full view. Like you can all see, it's huge. Rhea, you can see that Strahd himself did not actually go towards the castle. At that height, you actually watched him turn and travel down a different road. You also all, or you particularly, off in that distance, there is another village that direction. There is a lake up and by the castle, a little ways out. You can see the crater where this airdrop of your mech left just this horrible hole in the ground of these very dense forests. And Van Richten stopping and just kind of staring up at whatever the fuck you just conjured. And he looks at the three of you, not Rhea, and turns and just kind of like, what the fuck is that?
I'd look at him and say,
I'm no longer the basic bitch. Is what it
standard
is.
procedure for companion models.
Hey, okay. I won't ask questions.
What is that village that's by the lake?
Ah,
That seems to be where he's going instead of the castle.
Let's see here. Give me one moment. I need to remember the name. Where is it? Berez is what you would be responded with. And he's like, if he's heading towards Berez, he's finding a way to draw more power. Not from a location that he would wish, but a location he knows will provide. Berez is a leveled city after he didn't have his way with it, drowned by the river that connects to the lake.
So there is no population there.
Oh, there's a population there. A coven of witches. They, old folks that have chosen to follow or were taken out of the wood or perilous situations by Baba Lysaga. But if that's the direction he's going, we need a quick way to get there. Because we do not want him finding as much time to draw strength as he can. Perhaps he's looking for answers. Couldn't say.
Well then, and it's literally just crouches down and lowers the hand of the mech. Hands of the mech.
Aw.
Here you
Full
go,
Optimus
friends.
Prime style, yeah.
Yeah.
Climb on.
Come on, guys. Let's go for a walk.
Van Richten's gonna look at you and he goes, I mean, is this normal for you folks?
For me,
Oh,
yes.
quite normal, I assure you. He's gonna like chonk over, and then his spider legs are gonna like wrap around one of the fingers like a ring.
I love it.
Awesome.
Evangeline.
Friend Repaul, you all climbing on too?
No, I would start sort of like compacting and folding and unfolding on myself with a series of clicks and clunks, and they get slowly louder and louder and more impactful with each one as I actually morph into essentially the 60-ish foot transformation of myself. But my chassis, my look is slightly different. I have instead of the more humanoid looking like torso and head, I would have just like a dome and like almost like, this is going to sound funnier than it's meant to be, but think of like an ice cream cone torso to head shape with much larger arms and legs, but still with like the sleek black metal look.
Okay.
And you would have noticed that the screen actually folded under and then sort of stretched over the top, and the dome is now the screen.
Oh, nice. You're like a
Larger
giant
form.
version of the spaceman in the haunted circus episode of What's New Scooby-Doo.
Possibly.
Literally, none of us understood that reference.
Hey, it's all good. I have weird references for everything. It's all good.
Point being that instead of this little screen with the flashing expressions on my chest, now like from the neck up, this massive dome is one big screen with now a persistent face on it in the still like 8-bit emoticon sort of sense.
Kind of like a Mysterio dome.
Yeah, like a Mysterio dome, and my demeanor would completely change, and I would look down and say, "Hi, friends," with a happy face, a giant happy face on the dome screen now.
Okay, so we got two full kaiju-sized bastards. Repaul, what are you up to? PJ's taken purchase on one of Rhea's fingers.
If I can be so bold there, friend, might you have a Repaul-sized area that I might slot myself into in one of your legs?
I would enjoy a companion for this journey, and I would extend my now much larger hand as well to you.
Okay, so I have.
So I guess I'm just riding on his hand now.
Oh yeah, I was wondering.
I don't fit into any of these robots. I'm just there.
Do you have? I was gonna ask him, friend, do you
various
have
crevices.
like an R2-D2 chassis for Repaul somewhere on your
Oh, you know what I'm gonna do? I literally just came up with this proper. Tell me if you hate this, but I hope you don't.
I don't fucking care. Do it.
I bring you on my hand like toward my body, and you'd almost expect like this large dome head thing I have to open up. Nope. I just sort of like stick you on my left breastplate, and an internal magnetism mechanism would just sort of kunk, and you're like a brooch on my left breastplate now.
all of my appendages are just like, as I said, like dryer tubes. They're just waggling around as you walk from place to place.
No. Put it towards like the center of your breast so it looks like a tie with all the tubes coming down.
We'll do that. The bolo tie? Yeah.
There we go. So Repaul is the bolo tie to Friend's mech form. Rayu has got PJ Hawthorne as her fucking mecha wedding ring, and freaking Van Richten's just like, I don't know what the fuck I got into, but I guess a minute now. And he's gonna climb on Rhea because she extended the hand first. And I don't know where you're putting him, but he's gonna hold on for dear life.
We're the original odd couples.
So specifically for Van Richten, since he is human, the head is actually a total, completely functional cockpit. Okay. So there is some space in there. So just a slot.
Like,
opens
is there
in the
a
side
gunner seat,
pane.
or are you? Like...
There's a gunner seat. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a spot that opens up in the side of the face, and she holds her hand up.
He's
like...
far more comfortable with that, so he'll go climb in, and now Van Richten is your new Chewbacca, I guess.
You're not changing anything about how I'm attached. I want to add the flavor that you hear whirring and winding because Repaul's magnetic tapes are getting wiped, being magnetized to Frontier.
No.
But he's just frazzled. So it's like Repaul is high as he's like attached to this thing.
Reams of paper shooting out everywhere.
Constantly making little adjustments and upgrades to you as you go.
You guys have to like
are
download
flashing,
him from a cloud
full
backup
rainbow.
after every mission that you do this.
And it's all just chicken grease.
Oh God. All right, so onward you both head to Berez, or I mean the four of you, but the two giant mech versions of you guys head off to Berez, the drowned city in the river. As you both approach, just clomping through the forest, leveling things as you go, you see something very large moving through the wood. If you're paying attention, it looks like it's another tree. But like that tree is changing position in the wood, heading closer to Berez as well. The town itself appears silent. Had you not been told that there were people in it, it looks like a ghost town. Leveled very much kind of a New Orleans bayou town, now on stilts for whatever is left. But old and very Resident Evil 7-y. It's in shambles.
But seeing the tree moving across, Rhea's gonna ask Van Richter, are you familiar with that entity?
I couldn't say. Can't say that I've ever seen the forest from this vantage point before. Where'd you get one of these? We could just stomp the castle into dust.
So, destroying the castle does not deal with the problem itself.
Well, I mean, true, but it does help a little. I just feel like this is. I just feel like this is more worth it than, you know. And he kind of pulls up his crossbow. Than this here.
I'm sorry, this is not out for loan, but if it will help you get some closure, we can go back and destroy the castle.
I think I'd very much like that.
Can I indoctrinate him into the Mecha Dudes later, please? I'm bringing Van Richter with us.
You will have to make him a robot if he's part of the Mecha Dudes. So
yeah, he's gonna have to go the way of PJ Hawthorne here.
There you go.
You know what?
As we're trudging along, I would you'd hear like my speech at this point is like through several large loudspeakers on the exterior of my body, not like from a mouth like the humanoid form would be. You'd hear this resounding, Friend Paul, does your archive contain this designation?
As the bass in his voice kind of makes you vibrate a little bit, it's just like on the reverb of his fucking speakers.
Beep boop, beep 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 boop. I'm sorry. What was the question you were asking for on my databases?
This designation. Whenever I say designation, I'm referring to like another being of any kind.
And which designation are we talking about?
The walking tree or the transporting tree. I didn't quite catch the full explanation of how its movement looked.
Instead of any words, it'll just be that weird like drawings made of slashes and asterisks that you see on really old like computers of just a giant tree, and that's all that that's all of the like knowledge that RuPaul can deal with right now.
This is a tree.
Yeah.
just all ASCII, just like pictures of trees being printed out one after another.
Would I be able to like legitimately notice in any way that my attachment mechanism here is like messing with my companion here?
I mean, have you magnetized him before to your body?
Probably not.
You know it's not long lasting. It's only while I'm attached.
Oh, okay.
Fair enough. All right, so there's no sign of the nightmare at this point. You do see there are a couple different folks around. You don't have quite the optics at this height to recognize which one of them might be Strahd, but the tree that was moving, as it breaks through the side of the wood, upon further inspection, it kind of looks like a house on legs.
Baba Yaga.
Baba the Saga.
Baba lasagna.
Thank you for that.
Sounds a marketing strategy and an all I see the future of hell for this right now.
Yeah, she just makes freezer meals now. Baba Lasaga's lasagna. It's like
perfect. I see a business partner in my future. Hey.
Yes.
Well, that's intriguing.
I
imagine that's a problem.
It turns and it faces you as you see, whizzing through the wood behind it as it kind of spirals about and finds itself in the front of the two of you, a green, awful, craggly woman, very much kind of pointed, Wicked Witch-esque features, is riding the top half of a great dragon skull, as she's kind of floating around holding two of the teeth in this skull. She kind of floats up to the space between your two head spaces, and she looks at both of the mechs and she goes, I need to understand right now why something of your nature has brought itself into Barovia.
Hi, friend. We are in search of target 722, designation Strahd. Do you know where he is? Again, just booming loudspeakers. Everything is shaking.
The water ripples across the land.
I know where he's gone, but if that is who you are after, then you will see no further distance than the footfalls that you are in right now. And you watch in your periphery or sensors behind her, the trees adjacent to the forest start to build onto this already fairly massive moving walking hut structure into basically a bioorganic like plant kaiju with Baba Lysaga's home in the center of it.
Yeah.
As it kind of rips the roots of itself out of the ground, humanoid form standing about the same height as the two of you. And she looks and she goes, "You have one more chance to walk away, leave Barovia in its relative peace, and see yourselves out of our plane. My son will come to
Madam,
no
I mean,
harm
no
from you."
disrespect to you at all. No disrespect. I don't intend to come into your home and tell you how to live your life, but do not, and I understand my words plainly, do not make me and my colleagues here dump all of your fine lasagnas into the harbor to get what we serve. Now give us, Mr. von Zarevich, this here instant.
And
With a, remember when Alexa started laughing for no reason?
oh no.
You just hear that sound come out of Repaul, and like BB-8, a spindly arm will pop out of his chest, and just a lighter will go off. And he'll just have like a torch burning in front of him, and it goes.
Friend Repaul, up or down? Danger.
Horrifying thing I've ever heard.
That's hilarious because I have an Alexa and it's done that shit and it's
So, Jesus Christ.
The only word you get from Repaul at this moment is oil.
So, Baba Lysaga looks at you in your horrifying, cackling bolo tie and goes, "Fine. You've made my decision. If you won't leave my son in peace, then you will leave here in pieces." And she flies upward, into the sky, sitting right. Basically, you can see the little blip of her beneath the sky, beneath the clouds, as she kind of oversees this fight as this magic treehouse comes barreling towards you.
Is anyone going to assist me in burning this shit down?
Yes.
Oh, if we've done this before, I'd like to improvise. I'd actually bring my two arms together, and my shoulders would sort of like unhinge a little bit so that my elbows could actually clasp just underneath you, and my arms would meld together into this giant singular tube.
Amplify that shit. Do it.
Flame on, friend! And you'd hear this small hiss.
Oh my God.
If gas is entering the chamber.
All right,
And
so
I aim the whole thing up at the tree.
for the sake of teamwork there, I need Repaul to roll heart and Friend to roll logic. If either of you get a 1, we will count it.
I got a 1.
Okay.
No bullshit.
Double
No bullshit.
ones. Double ones.
Okay, so
Double
this thing in
one.
full sprint towards you, this like 75, 80 foot tall tree mech, basically, you just unleash this whirlwind, which for any D&D players would look like basically a cone of fire, just and immolates the front of it, all of its foliage, and the top of the its broccoli head decides to go up in flames and just kind of dissipate. So it is leafless. It is taken wound, and is pretty. It is currently burning, but it takes 2 swings, just 2 overarching like haymakers towards the front of you. Neither of those rolls took purchase though, and you managed to kind of duck and sway out of the way of those. Friend, as it passes you and then spins on its rooted heel to look back towards the two of you, ready for another pass. Who's up?
Okay.
What you guys doing?
Seeing this huge jet of flames just engulf the front of this hideous kind of tree monstrosity, PJ's going to look down, slam one of the buttons on his spider belt, and then just his little prodder will just, and then just tiny little flame, and he's just going to get it good and red, and then just flick it at the
Only
believe
you
my
can
work here
prevent
is done.
forest fires.
Mhm.
At
You
the
know what?
distance.
If you're doing that,
Oh no, go ahead, Rhea.
that's all you're doing is you're lighting the cigar and just flicking it, right?
Maybe
Yeah.
I'll burn some money afterwards. Who knows?
Maybe you'll burn some money after it. You know what? Let's roll with
And then
it.
just
with
throw
this
it away.
combo
I don't
attack.
need it.
We know it's a tree, it's a house, it's weak to fire. Let's fucking go. So there is you do that and notices that you're on her hand doing
It's
cash
all
money.
ones.
Just cash money. Holds her other hand out under you, and it's kind of the same thing. The palm opens up, and it's similar to Friend. It's a gas igniter. It projects that cigar forward and engulfs the whole thing. And
Okay. It's a little bit more like a gargantuan firebolt, but I'll allow the
yes.
same. Go ahead and both roll logic for me, though.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm good at.
Do you want the D10 or the D8? 'Cause-
I mean, I already called it as a D8, so I guess it's a
Okay.
D8 now.
I got 3 6s and a 1.
so I got a 2.
How did you roll 4?
I think I had a re-roll earlier.
Oh, got it. Yeah,
Yeah, you had an advantage roll. So
fair enough.
I had an advantage. Oh yeah, sorry.
What did
I got
Ray
a
you
2.
get?
So
A 2. Okay. So the your kind of assistance with
I'm
that
trying.
is not as useful as the fact that PJ Hawthorne is strangely adept at flicking cigars at people. That probably says something about his character, but
Wow, right in the eye.
He's used to a small scale.
yeah, he's
Here,
used
take
to
all
a
these
small
ones to
scale,
put your
but you
health there,
managed
you
to just
fool.
project this thing forward, and as it kind of ignites the air and the gas that is hitting, you strike it in the shoulder as this
Turn the cigar
large
into a grenade.
tree house, spins, taking some chunks and shrapnel out of the wood of its shoulder. It's going to take 2 strikes against you now, Rhea.
Okay.
Neither
Whatever
of
you do,
which
don't fuck
find
with your
purchase. But I do need to check on one thing real fast.
Okay.
May I please make a request that you do not punch this on fire being with your fists?
As you
Well,
guys,
maybe not with you.
Yeah, so
Thank you.
you're burning this thing and it spins around to face you. While you guys are all facing it, Baba Lasaga spins back down through the sky, casting spells at the back of you, out of your view, Rhea, and ends up casting a pretty high level, comparatively, Ray of Frost that hits the back haunch of your like hip servo, basically,
Okay.
locking up and freezing that leg from really moving. You will take a heart from that.
Okay.
And you're kind of locked in place for the time being.
I just can't move that leg, but everything else is movable.
Everything else is working. That one is frozen stiff. Friend PJ, Repal, Rhea, what is going on?
So just to make sure I have this straight, the tree is like on fire, wounded, but still alive and kicking?
Yep, in front of you and swinging. Has
Okay,
not made an actual damaging hit yet, but...
Okay, and Baba Saga is like nearby, flying around, shooting us with stuff?
Yep, casting auxiliary spells in her zippy little dragon skull.
My cannon arm, I will call that my right arm, the one that was originally turning into cannons of various forms before, now like retracts on itself, like I sort of unfold, it retracts on itself and re-extends in like a circular form in what I can only describe as a fly swatter. But it's like a solid sheet of metal, obviously, so nothing can pass through it.
Okay.
And I'm just trying to whack at Bawla Saga.
Okay. Go ahead and roll violence for me. There's not a whole lot of logic in that one.
There's a 2 and a 3.
2 and a 3? Okay.
Yep.
Neither of which find purchase. Baba Lasaga, being a fly on the wall as she is real quick.
Seeing this, PJ's going to hit another button on his belt, and the parasol that's over his head is going to start to spin, and the legs will unclasp as he takes off in his little mini spider helicopter.
Hey, there we go.
After Baba Lasaga. And it's like spurting black smoke out the back as the exhaust are like popping and cracking away. And he kind of tries to get her into his sights. And he hits his spiderweb net.
Okay, go ahead and roll. Let's make that one logic for me.
A 6, a 2, and a 3.
Okay. So the net spins through the air and kind of unfurls, impacting the side of the dragon skull, but not centered enough to make purchase and actually wrap around the thing. As it hits the eye socket, a good portion of it ends up in the eye socket, and the net just kind of dangles out the side of it.
Gosh darn diggity dog.
All right.
Well, I do believe. Well, I am glad that they recently decided to turn this into a companion model. And Van Richter, I know this is a little bit out of your realm, but it should be relatively intuitive. And a couple of things on the dashboard, and there's another seat that comes up.
Okay.
It's relatively simple. It's like a Nintendo joystick. Got its own
Nice.
screen, the joystick, and a launch button.
Is this a turret?
Yes.
Okay.
Nice!
What is it shooting?
It is shooting probably something along the lines of a rocket projectile.
Okay.
Probably not like energy, but
All right. Fair enough. So as you are paying attention to this, helping out Van Richten as he climbs into this pilot seat and you're getting him acquainted, friend, you notice the wooden mech taking strikes towards the both of you, like in full sprint, just ready to impact. You manage to kind of deftly move to the side of it, but Rhea was a little bit too preoccupied with getting a second person set up, and that fist of wooden debris just impacts center mass, sending you stumbling a little bit. It will break the... actually, no, it won't. It'll impact and it'll send you to the ground in the process. So your mech is going to be on its back, but that's another heart to you.
yeah.
Can I sort of react to the
Yeah, go for it.
the punch coming at me? I would attempt to like grab it
Okay.
and do a straight up like grab the wrist with one hand, etch up at the elbow with the other, and just try to like divert and basically twist its arm to break it off.
Okay. Yeah. Roll some. Oh, that's good.
Good old Taekwondo shit there.
You know what? That's in response during an impact to a no, because I know you don't have heart, and that's a good.
It sounds like a very logical
That
roll
would have been
there.
actually a rude thing. Yeah, I'll make that one logic.
Okay. I have one in logic. That is a 2. I'm on 2s lately. Okay.
Okay, so diverted and spun and kind of knocked off of its center, but this thing is pretty well held together, and you can't seem to break it. You've got it held though.
Okay.
No damage done. Let's see. We got Repaul. You doing anything?
Not at the moment. I can't think of anything right now. He has pulled out a very tiny like oil can because he can
Okay.
tell that Rhea is having difficulty moving, but he is not able to assist at the moment.
Okay.
I appreciate the thought.
Sounds good. Let me
His
see.
servos are
here.
still working, sort of, but he is not designed for epic battles at the moment.
Okay. At you, friend. Let me see. We're gonna make this. Yeah, we're gonna make that those. Give me just a moment. Okay. She casts Lasaga spins around you and casts a spell as she rounds, and for a second you can feel your system go dark.
Ooh.
Like as if you were about to just go offline. But that little blackout turns to be no more than a brownout, and you kind of flicker back. But whatever she cast tried to put you down as she spins up a little bit into the air. PJ, what are you up to?
As I kind of whiz past Babala Saga, I noticed that the giant flaming pile of wood is still swinging at my colleagues. And I'm like, gosh darn it. Oh, don't you worry there, folks. I'm coming in hot. And I'm going to go over it, and I'm going to pull my lever, and I'm going to dump my supply of chicken grease onto the burning wood pile
Okay.
from above.
Go ahead and roll logic for me.
Pew, pew, pew. 4, 3, 1.
Very nice. So you, flying over, bombing runs are a difficult thing, but you manage to find purchase with this large amount of chicken grease. And as it drops from whatever horrible space that it was contained in, just I shudder to think of a robot with a grease trap. But this chicken grease hits the side of like its shoulder and kind of splashes down the side of its face area, and the impact coupled with the flame just and
Tastes like liberty.
oh, sometimes capitalism is helpful.
Oh, that one got me.
You can see
Somewhere
the
in the
side of this
distance,
thing
even
black, and anything that was starting to go out has just reignited. It is not doing well. It is kind of off kilter at this point. Friends got it grasped. It's kind of fallen to pieces. You'd suppose one more good smack, and you'd probably have it. Baba Lasaga is going to round directly to you, seeing that, and just try to ram you in the size of her dragon skull. She's not too unconfident in her abilities to do so, and she's just going to full speed towards your little helicopteriness. And that was a 1. So,
oh no!
Whoa.
So that is 1 heart down for you, and you are
Crunch.
sent. Propellers kind of crumpled, just kind of spinning downward, not able to maintain altitude. Typically up to.
I would correct me if I'm wrong. Proper. Did you say like we've done this before? This attachment thing. So this would be
Yes.
like familiar territory. Okay. So you would feel on like the torso, on your sides of your chassis, you would feel a couple of small like attachment arms sort of jut out from the area that I placed you on. And I'd say, sorry, friend, I forgot you don't like that. And you'd feel the sort of magnetism turn off as these things sort of attach to you in a small implement that was definitely designed for a small friend to, if they choose, jettison off of me.
Did you just give the 80s bot a fucking jetpack?
Most certainly did.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But it's like as it stands is a physical attachment to my chassis rather than a magnetism attachment, and then like a small piece of you would know Repaul, that there's like a small button on the side you could just smack, and then you could jettison off and have a small jetpack.
Oh my god.
Fair enough.
There's a small kind of attachment you put over him, and then you go around the back and push the secret button, and that's what jettisons all the friends.
Pew!
Perfect. Good. Just checking.
So, Repaul, in his weird jetpack contraption, with a big snap, pops off of the front of FRND friend, and so there's now a hole in the front of friend, but he's going to putter off in this little contraption and head over to Rhea and attempt to free her from her broken hip there.
All right, roll some heart.
I would love to do that thing that you have asked me to do. It is a 4.
Okay.
He's attempting to fulfill his purpose of being a repair droid and repair his friends.
And you are trying real hard. You're making some purchase, but nothing immediately successful yet, because it's a big fucking hip you're trying to thaw.
Yeah.
I've got the one little like a torch. I'm just like.
Yeah, you're like trying to use a creme brulee torch against like the side panel of a warehouse. Like.
That's exactly what it's like.
As that happens, the turret on the shoulder kind of spins on axis to move forward from Rhea and takes like 3 shots of these small missiles out towards the mech that Friend has got a hold on to. Still trying to get used to it. None of them actually find purchase. And Friend, you can watch them whiz past and just like off in the distance in different portions of Barovia as soon as they like lose their altitude.
Oh, did they? You said they whiz like by me?
Yeah, they whiz past you.
Oh, I would absolutely respond. Oh, rockets, my favorite. And out of my back, my shoulder blades essentially extrude into a couple of cluster rocket setups. Perfect. And just like 24 small rockets
going.
They would be like skittering all over the place for the first several hundred feet, and then they would just completely U-turn at their apex and all converge onto the tree.
Okay.
That I'm holding down still, yeah.
This is fun. Fuck it. How many D4 do you have on your person at the time?
How many D4 do I have?
Yeah.
1. Oh no. Yeah, my specialty is D6s right now.
How many D6s you got?
We were told D6s.
That many?
Like a brick.
A dozen? Yeah, I think I have 12.
You got a dozen? Well, you said you're firing off a dozen rockets. I want all 12 of those rolled.
Oh boy.
What I am looking for is a straight.
You're looking for a straight, okay.
I want a 1 through 6.
Okay.
Nice.
There's a 1, 2, 5, 6, 3, 4. I might have 2 straights, sir. 1,
you have
2.
1 from the sounds of it, at least.
Mm-hmm.
I have a small and a large.
Well, I mean, is that the 1 through 6?
I have a 1 through 6 and another 1 through 4.
All right. The 1 through 6 is what I was looking for. So
okay.
These fucking 12 rockets and then just kind of swirl about. Baba Lysaga is now in the midst of fucking evasive maneuvers.
My dome
of rockets that are not paying
my
attention.
dome is like the red exclamation point with a circle around it, like
yeah, making the fucking Capcom noise as it's blinking. As all of these spin and drop down, and you release his arm and just kind of give him a shove a little ways away from you, and all 12 of these rockets just
awesome.
And you watch just splinters of like fireworks of this fucking like tree bark and wood chips just scatter through an enormous amount of space, all probably burning in their own little bits as they land and collide and, you know, hit the dirt. But this thing basically waist up is just gone. And the last 2 nice. And the last 2 trees that were used as its legs both kind of topple over in singular log format as their animation ceases. and they impact the ground. Baba Lysaga,
Oh,
seeing
man.
this, is going to turn tail and head in a direction, just beelining it somewhere.
So in response to her turning tail and running, I would like to essentially watching her put up a energy barrier around her, trap her in that dragon. So it's like a one-sided barrier. She can't get out, but if we have to, we can get in.
So are you trying to stop her movement?
Yes. I'm trying to trap her because we currently don't know where Strahd went.
Okay.
He went to Perez, but she said he went somewhere else.
So roll logic.
Okay, so we'll do that D8. Was a 5 get me?
Not much.
Not much. I imagine
mean,
not, but
yeah, you try, like, instinctively, you try to, like, sit up and find purchase to, like, basically EMP this location that she is heading towards to, you know, energy wall her space to keep her from going any further. You missed the shot, timed improperly, because
Damn.
as you try to sit, that thigh
that hit.
still, yeah, that hip still locks up, and that jerk fires it in the wrong direction. And Baba Lysaga continues to sail. But PJ, have you? What are you doing about your predicament? I forgot you are currently falling from the sky.
Are you falling from the sky?
You're just like randomly like slamming buttons and pulling levers and like whirring a crank, and it's just like
You know what that sounds like to me? Sounds like you're giving it some heart. Go ahead and give me a roll.
oh, I don't have anything in heart.
Give me a D8 then. You're looking for a 1.
Okie dokie. I got a 2.
A 2. All right. So
If anyone wants to catch me.
I would say, can we act in response to that?
you maybe not, but
Yeah. Hey, friend.
Could I?
you may.
Yeah, I try to like lunge and scoop, like sort of try to catch him at some point before hitting the ground.
All right. So the help of assisting your friends is also going to be heart.
Okay, that is a D8 for me then.
D8 for you as well.
I ain't got no heart. I'm violent. Ooh, that's a
have
3.
2 heart, and I have not gotten to roll it once.
Okay. No success to either of you, and you reach out your hand and you almost catch him, and in the swing, you try to like reach out your spider legs and grab on, and he just kind of accidentally clotheslines 4 of those legs, and you just hear that
Jeez.
ping as you go and hit the
Oh,
ground in
no.
the dirt on the side of your spider. You're gonna take a heart of damage for that.
Sad face on my big dome.
We tried.
Sorry, friend.
Paul will attempt to putter on over and find him.
Yeah, I mean,
If he's on his back, try to right him.
yeah, he's visible, and you could definitely like help him back up.
Well, I declare this is most unbecoming of a gentleman of my stature.
Oh goodness.
We're having a terrible time.
Well,
I'm gonna say, for the sake of narrative, with enough effort, you finally managed to kind of thaw and break the portions of the ice that are keeping your leg from moving.
what? Sorry, I'm preoccupied. I'm realizing I'm missing like 3 of the dice in this set, and I don't know where they are, but I'll find them later. I have a functioning leg, so I'm back on my feet again.
All right, so both of you are on your feet. PJ Hawthorne and Repaul. Repaul's got some momentum. PJ Hawthorne is a flightless bird currently.
Oh no. Watching where Baba Yaga is going. Where is she heading?
She appears. Let me see here. What looks like she is heading towards a fairly large hill with a statue upon the top of it. You can kind of see the sprinklings of different small, I don't know, tombstones or different little pocks of stuff down the sides of the hill. But the center of the hill looks to be a big statue. At least is the direction that she's flying.
I'm gonna ask Man Richter if he's familiar with this graveyard she appears to be going to.
It's not a graveyard. It's called Yester Hill. Strahd built an effigy of himself, or had an effigy of himself constructed on the top of that hill.
Van has suddenly become very Scottish.
If you've got, I just, the accent wasn't quite as thick before. I'm getting angry.
The heat of battle.
Right, exactly. No, if she's familiar with your size and capability for destruction, it's entirely possible she's looking to animate that monstrosity. A
So then
Strahd
it
your
is-
size could do some damage.
So it's in our best interest to cut her off.
If possible.
Let's see what we can
Initiating
do.
long shot. And my entire, so similar to what I did before with the assistance of Repaul, I would sort of fold my arms on themselves. They'd make that familiar singular long tube. But now the rest of my body basically follows suit. I take a single knee sort of lunge position and straight up aim at that thing, and the rest of, like, from the hips up just transforms into this pivoting, shifting cannon with like a big red button at the top that is the dome of my head. And you'd see this red flash like
Long range cannon.
And the
God, let this work. Roll some
the
fire.
entire thing depresses, and just this massive laser beam emits out of it.
I love it. I love it so much.
What did you? I'm
Violence.
assuming it's violence. 2 1s.
2 1s?
I kid you not. 2 1s.
All right, so you watch your buddy transform into a fucking, like, laser artillery cannon, and you, like, focus on the direction that Baba Lasaga's traveling, and the recoil of this whole cannon. And the laser, like, it moves for a good distance, and you see, and just a single tiny figure just down
Awesome.
into the fucking dirt,
Amazing.
losing sight of her a little ways
Oh,
before the
man.
hill. Oh, that was brilliant. I love that so much.
Seems that that's been taken care of.
Oh man.
Good job, friend.
Good God.
Thank you, friend.
Ooh, what are y'all up to?
I'm in
done.
like what's next mode.
We have a read on Strahd now.
I am
would say that
slowly
one of
re-oiling
us-
PJ's limbs.
We're reattaching those limbs and making sure they work properly.
Well,
Oh,
I think
a
that
little
boy next
drill
to him
out
getting
and
rubber
some,
good
like-
and deep.
Give me
he's
some
he's
heart,
got his
Paul.
blowtorch. Nope. Come on, stay on the table. It's a 4 again.
It's a 4. All right, so he
Mhm.
is in working order to be able to move around as he was. He's feeling better. His propeller's still not reconstructed, and like he's not objectively any healthier. But you've got full movement beyond flight right now.
I will take it. Thank you very much. I do appreciate your hard work. Here's a silver dollar. Because that is currency as far as I'm aware.
Repaul will turn and just show you his coin slot. No
Oh.
one knows what the coin slot does, but he has one.
I just imagine the jukebox starts playing. We have a theme song.
Is it more J-pop?
There you go.
Yeah.
Please? Can it
No,
be?
this is some all-American tunes because PJ just put a
You know
silver
what?
dollar into your
You're
cornhole.
right, you're
Coin
right.
hole.
It's like the player piano, like da 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 da.
The
There you go.
Marvel
Well,
opening
that's the sound
cinematic
of
starts
freedom in the
playing.
morning.
Yeah, some really old school.
Happy face flashing on my dome now. The green happy face.
Woo!
Whoops, just an eagle screech.
Since we have encountered Strahd, I would say we have a read on like what kind of a signature he gives off. Would we be able to track it
To what? The
to Strahd's energy?
Strahd's
Where is
energy.
this guy going?
I mean, roll.
He would
logic
give
for
off
me.
some kind of a signature.
Roll logic for me, Rhea.
Okay.
Good thought.
I'm gonna hope that I can do something here. Okay, so there's a 3, but I do have a -2, so that would make it a 1.
Very nice. So you take a minute. You're not particularly familiar with magic, but everything has to have some kind of energy signature, and he was doing some weird shit. So you managed to kind of tune in to some of the residual data that you had from the first conflict, and you do get a ping on him, and it appears to be coming from that hill, or at least nearby that hill.
Well, it seems like he is still in that area. Shall we go?
I believe time is of the essence. And time is
Lead
money.
on, friend.
Come on, friend! Are you what?
So, are you all? Are
Egg,
you
I'm
all?
sorry. Your screaming wasn't picked up by your mic. You're gonna have to repeat yourself.
No. I've screamed enough tonight. I had to mute half of it.
Maybe you can try it again, but not screaming.
No.
Oh, okay.
That was
We'll
very
never know
clear,
what
though.
Meg
That
tried
was
to
a good,
say.
clear audio. Just that no. That was clippable. All right, so you all are heading towards this hill then. As you do,
As one does.
barreling through forest and rutted plain of Barovia, passing the castle, you make your way to Yester Hill with this grand statuesque effigy of Strahd holding I don't know what it actually looks like, so we're going to make it up as it goes, but holding his dear Arena dead and
dear
clutched
Arena?
in his arms. Or wait, which one is Arena? Arena's not the current one. What was his original wife? I need to look that up. Holding a
Tatiana.
woman who is presumably his original love back in the yesteryear. I cannot recall, and I don't have the time to look it up because it would take me
Regardless,
too
she is a
long.
corpse.
Yes. Sorrowful
Tatiana.
over Tatiana. There we go.
Oh,
Sorrowful
Hey,
over this body. Proper, damn you.
That's what I heard. I heard you say deer arena. I just expected like a hockey rink full of deer.
Insert giant antlered mech here.
By the end of this one shot, RuPaul will find a friend, and it will be a deer.
It's
And was here the whole time.
actually an elk. Okay, so as you
Sorry,
get close, you
you were
notice
saying.
Strahd standing at the base of this statue, just kind of looking over it, and as you a couple steps off as you're continuing to move, he will turn to face the four of you, and he looks up, and a booming, magically projected voice, he goes, "You realize that what you are doing is ruining the landscape that I have cultivated for my people, right? They're not prisoners here. They choose. They stay on my behalf because they know that I rule the land in a manner that would keep them all safe. They listen to me, and I, in turn, make sure that Barovia is maintained. That balance
Logic does
is
not
being
compute. Criminal
disrupted
record.
by you, all of you.
Beep boop beep.
I'm afraid you speak a lot of sense there, my friend. We did give you the opportunity to come quietly and peacefully, which would have been the behest of your people, I have no doubt. But instead, your ignorance and arrogant ways have instead put a blot on this landscape, a blot that must be cleaned.
You want to talk about blots on my landscape? You put a hole in the center of one of my favorite vineyards.
It was me.
It's actually Van Richten, but like, yeah.
Oh. It's still me. I gave him the gun.
That's true.
And we have a booze runner on our hands as well. I knew his list of crimes would continue onwards and upwards.
Fine. You want to call me a criminal? Then I will treat you all as invaders to my land. And as my father was a great conquestor before I was, I will see to it that you all are driven off. And he steps back, and two things happen under whatever magic that had been being cast on this effigy of him. You watch one hand remove itself from holding this body and reach down and pick up Strahd, and the other one will kind of clutch the body closer and crush what is basically a hollow statuette, or a hollow statue of her. Left in its wake is like this massive greatsword that was held within the hollow of this secondary statue, and he grabs it and he sets it on the ground and sets Strahd inside of this very large effigy of himself, which kind of wraps stone around this chest piece, and he gets up, like the Mecha Strahd, we'll call it what it is, gets up off of one knee, wielding this sword, and looks at you, and in the same prestidigitated loud voice, he goes, "If you want to fight, then you will have one, but it will not be pleasant for you." And we are opening this fight with Strahd within the thing, channeling through this sword. He's going to point the sword at the rest of you and cast a fireball your direction to impact center mast between the two giant mechs. Let me roll a whole bunch of d6s. Good lord. He fires this fireball off, and it launches forward, and admittedly, he's never used this last-ditch ace-in-the-hole trick up his sleeve that he has, and it goes just a little bit too long and impacts the air behind you, and, you know, if you weren't mechs, a friend would probably feel it, but Rhea, you were actually in a mech, so friend, you would feel the heat kind of on your back, but there was no purchase to any damage with that attack.
What you're saying is he just lit us up with a background of fire.
He didn't.
And made it look fucking cool.
He just framed his own demise.
There you go.
It's like one of those Power Ranger scenes at the end where they form the big mecha and big explosions in the background.
Play the theme tune.
At the sound and feel of the blast, my dome would start showing like a flashing like green exclamation point at this time in a display of excitement, and he would say, "Ooh, downgrades." And he would take the one arm that's been transforming into various weapons and like smash his own other elbow and clench that fist at the same time. And with this loud ping, that arm would now extend and sharpen into its own red hot blade.
So are you one-armed right now? Like you just took off one arm as a sword?
No, it was more... In more crude terms, I guess it would be like he smashed the button that was his elbow to transform this other arm into a sword.
Okay,
So he still
so
has the other arm that's
So
been doing
it's a
weapons.
bladed
yeah, you've got the
arm.
Optimus Prime blade then.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Fair enough.
And I go for the lunge and stab.
All right, you go for the lunge and stab. Go ahead and roll me some violence.
We got a 2 and a 4.
Okay. You take a step forward, swinging this blade, and his blade impacts the side of it. And you watch some of the dust fall off. It looked like it was stone, but it actually looks like it's made out of like obsidian or like a black iron. As it sparks against it, but the heat doesn't seem to find purchase, and he manages to kind of parry it out of the way, readying himself for another strike. And if there's silence, he's going
So
to
he
strike.
he is preparing for an actual like strike as if another blade's going to hit him, or
Or he's going to swing out with Strahd's blade. He was preparing to strike, which he will do, and he's going to lunge forward in a return. But the same kind of back and forth dance will repeat itself as you can impact it and move him to the side. Still trying to get used to his piloted form.
So he's still trying to get used to that. I want to try to take advantage of him leaving openings while they're in combat.
Okay.
So thinking she's going more with like an energy blaster that's coming from like the palm that opens up.
Some good repulsor rays going on.
Yeah. That is a 4.
So both Friend and Mecha Strahd's blades collide as you fire a repulsor ray, and as they kind of dance to the side of each other, it impacts the center of these blades and kind of knocks both of them apart, breaking the kind of stance that they were both in, but no damaging purchase. Repaul and PJ, any ideas from you guys?
I'm still pondering, so give me a second.
Fair enough.
Peter's
The
going to be
option is
skittering back
the
and
option
forth,
is
like,
always open to become buddies. I mean, we're adaptable.
Let's see what PJ says first, then.
Peter's going to be like back and forthing it, like skittering in and out of all these like big feet that are like stamping around on the ground. All these like coming down around him. He's going to try and wait for Strahd to plant his foot and then kind of try and scamper up the side of Strahd's body on his big mecha legs.
Okay.
I was
Give me
hoping you were
give me a
going for
logic.
that.
Okay. That is a 6, a 2, and a 5.
6, a 2, and a 5. I will give you Tenebris purchase, but Strahd is aware of you and goes to take a swing to knock you off, but you manage to kind of just lower your legs against the side of him, and he swings wide. So on his calf currently, but you're not getting a great grip.
I want to try and use my like cigarette lighter to just like try and burn a hole that I can get into his wiring.
Ooh.
Okay. All right.
Actually, Repaul's going to do something very similar. He's going to pull out his drill and attempt to anchor himself into the into his other leg.
Okay. Go ahead and God. Give me a logic roll, Repaul.
3 and a 4.
3 and a 4. All
So
right.
3.
So pending a response here. Oof, that one was not quite as successful. You go to make an impact, and you hit the side of his leg, and you can hear the and little pieces of stone and stuff are falling to the sides. He is very aware of that, and he looks down at you, just kind of like face plant at the front, getting closer, like screwing yourself into the side of his leg. He's just kind of boo with his backhand. And it knocks you to the ground at his feet, which will take a heart of damage for that. Again, with silence to him, he's going to respond with another sword swing, a sweeping strike towards the two of you, Friend and Rhea. Oh, that's 2 1s.
Oh!
So he does. This time, he's fully aware of what he's doing and how you guys are trying to gang up on him. And he's going to lunge forward, drop to a knee, like with his sword at his side, almost as if it was sheathed, very samurai style. As he hits the ground and his knee collides, he's just going to bring that sword up and around, and you can see it collide and impact with the legs of both of you, taking a good solid heart of damage.
As I'm sort of reeling from that strike, my right hand, so left hand is sword mode now. My right hand will retract again on itself, and you'll see this beam of energy extract out into the form of a shield. And I'll take a sort of defensive stance, facing him again with the shield in front and the sword ready to strike at the next opportunity.
Okay. Sounds good. So in a parrying space, Rhea, what are you up to?
So I want to make something kind of clear because I am sitting at 3 hearts.
Mm-hmm.
And once I hit 4, that's end game, right?
4 based on the rules is death. Now,
okay.
we'll get there when we get there because I've had thoughts on that, but
okay.
Go ahead and proceed.
I just want to make it notable just as a standby thing. Having it set up so that that little pod, that seat that Van Richter is in, it's set up to be an escape capsule.
Okay,
so if that mecha is,
crash.
Yes, if that mecha goes down, he's getting ejected. It's going probably into the walls of the city where somewhere safe.
Speaking of, he's just going to do more damage to the landscape. As your legs get impacted by this giant sword, he finally is like, all right, I'm going to take some more shots. 3 more small ballistic missiles leave this turret. All 3 of them miss the lunging Strahd and just like trees are toppling. You can see things burning in the distance. Like,
you know what? If it's Perez and it's keeping the witches at bay, that's fine. I'm good with that.
You guys are facing away from Berez, so it's probably not good.
If it's shaking him up, you know what? I'm fine with that.
Repaul is going to try to do what he does best, and he can tell that Rhea's not doing too well, and he's going to right himself and attempt to hobble on over, and R2-D2 style, he is going to attach his 2 legs to Rhea's chassis and just like ride up on the edge of Rhea.
Okay.
So he's basically standing at a perpendicular to Rhea's legs, and will attempt to start repairing Rhea as best as he possibly can.
All right. So roll heart to ride and repair.
Oof, that's a 4.
Okay. So some progress being made, but nothing super impactful. Let me know when you want to
one plate at a time. Yeah,
one piece at a time.
One thing at a time. You're a small dude. I'm a big robot.
Progress is progress, no matter how small.
Checks out.
All right, PJ.
I just need to repair 1 set of wires, and everything will be all right.
You're just waiting for the right bit. You just can't find it yet. PJ, go ahead and roll logic for trying to. Actually, let's make this one heart. Roll heart for trying to cut through the side of this dude.
I don't have anything in heart. So is that a D8?
That would be a D8.
Okay. It's 7.
Okay.
Oof.
You are very familiar with cutting through plated metal. You are not super familiar with trying to carve through stone, so it is taking some time.
So he might give up on that and continue try to reaffirm his grip and scuttle further up, and he's going to try and get to whatever part Strahd is looking out of and controlling the mech from, where probably like the faceplate or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, as a
He's
good
gonna try
note,
and then he's going to try and obscure it.
you all watched this. Strahd was placed into the chest of this mecha. There is no like bridge visual. Like he's completely obstructed, almost like
He's become one with the mech.
yeah, I mean kind of. He's like piloting this mech as if it was him. It's not necessarily a chassis visual spot.
While I'm weakly gripped to the side of it, I'll start trying to look around to see if I can find any sort of exhaust port for this machine.
Okay. Sounds good. Give me a logic roll. Hang on to that.
Okay.
He's going to take another strike. He's going to turn... friend, you are the most weaponized, so as he rights himself from that big wide swing, he's going to stand up and use that standing momentum to lunge at you, which does not find purchase, as he misses to the side of you, kind of grazing off the side of your shield. You said you were righted for a return attack, so go ahead and roll some violence for me.
Yeah, so at the impact with the shield, I'd sort of take a spin to more actively parry it than just a glancing blow would allow. And then coming back around, I'd take a full-on stab right into like the middle, like where a rib cage would be, like up and into that area.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm assuming violence.
Yes, violence.
Woke up today and chose violence.
Mother, I crave violence.
Excellent.
We have the dichotomy 1 and 6.
Very nice. All right. So, you didn't have to tell me the other number, but now I want to use it. So you lunge forward with this blade, and it goes up through the ribs portion of this this mech, and it stumbles him backwards, kind of pulling you with it as he goes back down onto one knee. And as that definitely did damage to him, with his offhand not holding the sword, he's going to try to just uppercut you and take you off of him with the strike, which there was a 1 in that. So 1 heart against you as your blade is unlodged from his chest, and you go stumbling backwards, giving him enough distance to try to right himself. Paul, go ahead and give me another heart for that repair. PJ, give me a lot. Oh, give me a heart to hold on, actually, PJ. What'd you roll, Paul?
I rolled a 1.
Very nice. Rhea, you may return 1 of your hearts.
I got a 1 as well.
You got 1 as well. All right, so you managed to hold on through all of this, as frightening as it was, because where you are grabbing right now is probably just adjacent to him fucking skewering the Strahd, like Mecha Strahd.
Oh boy. I'm in danger.
Straight between 2 of the octo
I should
legs.
not be here. I should not be here.
Never bring a spider capitalist to a sword fight.
Spider capitalist is the worst term I've heard in so long.
Less capitalist and more adventure capitalist.
Arachno-capitalist, that's what it is.
Oh, fuck no.
That's worse.
PJ Hawthorne, the Arachno-capitalist. I'm going to have a whole artwork commission for that and have it on my mantle.
I can't wait for the commissioned artwork of our team at the end of all of this.
You want to commission me? I'll do it.
Oh, I'll pay that. I'll pay that.
God. All right, so you hold on, Paul. You've managed to repair a little bit of Rhea. Friend, you are reeling a little bit. Rhea, what are you up to?
Rhea, so as it stands at the moment, Strahd is basically on one knee and he's got his sword in Strahd, right?
Yes, he is in the process of standing. Well, the sword has been removed. Friend is stumbling backwards because Mecha Strahd just uppercutted him and sent him backwards. He's in the process of standing up, but he's coming up from a knee. Yeah, if you want to interject that.
So if he is coming up from an uppercut, since that means his side is going to be open, I'm going to most of her armaments other than the shoulder cannons have been energy, so just a blade, very Assassin's Creed-like, comes from the arm, just made of energy, and she steps forward and tries to stab that into the side of the Mecha Strahd.
Okay.
This giant stone Mecha Strahd. Let's
All
see
right.
if this works out in my favor.
Give me some violence.
It does not. It's a 5.
Okay. So you lunge forward with this, hidden energy blade. Strahd is far more adept at this than you would assume. Oh God. And you're gonna reach forward, like lunge forward with that blade. And riding himself, he's going to grab your wrist. Of that. And in the process of grabbing it, just hold it and take the other arm with the blade down into the dirt as it is, and just wrench it forward and cleave your hand off with that blade as your little energy blade and, appendage falls to the ground.
I appreciate that heart that you gave me, Repaul, but
Hey, it saved you from death.
it did save me from death. So
Right?
there it goes.
Pretty good.
I'm gonna have to recall the
Repaul-
mothership about this.
Repaul just beeps angrily.
I'm sorry.
It's like
You're
the,
getting some protective armor and
it's like the maid wandering around, just being like, "I just cleaned this mess."
wherever you are
Absolutely
right
adore
now,
your
you have.
contributions proper. Thank you.
I do appreciate you. Wherever you are, you have armaments around you so that you are protected.
Oh, good God. All right. PJ, what are you up to?
So looking for this exhaust port, if there's anything like that aboard.
It's a statue.
So as to say, this is more of like a magic stone statue than like
you're still
a
treating
robotic
it like a
mech.
machine. Which I mean,
If there's
might
any
be
way in,
fair,
is what
yeah.
I'm thinking. Any sort of nook or cranny I can squeeze myself into. Any sort of escape hatch.
It is a magic statue.
The motherfucker's a vampire.
Yeah,
He doesn't need air.
Proper knew what was. Repaul's got it handled. There is no real exhaust ports on this guy. It is smooth stone. Chiseled features, if you will.
He's like a giant golem.
Mm.
But not the creepy, spindly guy from Lord of the Rings.
We don't pay attention to him.
Oh, I mean, I like him. I just didn't think he was a good comparison. Don't be rude.
Don't need to be a dick about it. God.
Jeez.
So you were scrambling around, thinking of a thing to do.
My death house.
Friend, what are you up to?
So at this point, I have there's some distance now, right? Because I sort of stumbled back.
Yeah.
Okay, so shield hand goes back to giant cannon form, and I take a shot right at the initial hole I've created with the sword.
Ooh. Oh, actually, PJ, he is absolutely correct. He just cleaved a big fucking hole into the side of him. I will get back to that in a minute. Friend, go ahead and roll violence.
Okay. We got double twos.
Double twos? Give me a sec. Okay. So, double twos, sword still, like, blade down in front of him. You fire this energy blast, and he just kind of, like, lifts it up like a shield. Because this thing's like the fucking, like, Buster sword from, like, Final Fantasy VII. It's got a really wide blade to it. So he kind of uses it as a shield as this energy kind of glances off and around him. PJ, you can feel the heat of this as you are against his body, right as you find the hole that he was aiming for, that incidentally, Strahd, just by coincidence, shielded you from getting, like, immolated while you tried to climb inside of it.
Oops, sorry, friend.
Go ahead and roll some.
Oh no.
Which one was the one that you had? Roll the one that you
I've
had.
only got
or break.
logic. I've just maxed logic.
Okay, give me some logic.
Okay.
You've got a plan. I'll give it logic.
It's 3, 1, and a 5.
Very nice. One's a success. So you manage to flatten yourself down as much as you can and kind of sit and look around and skitter inside of this blade hole. What is your goal?
I want to find where Strahd is in this thing.
Okay. So the edge of this wound cleaves up and around the back of Strahd. Strahd is kind of almost held in place, like almost entombed in this thing. He doesn't appear to be moving. He's just kind of part of it at this point, but the blade has gone up and cut around him, so the back of him is exposed, and you can see it burnt and bloodied from where this blade had cut through. So you do have some exposure to Strahd if you were skittering in it.
Yeah, I'm just going to go, try and position myself, kind of like, when spiders see each other, they go off onto their back ones, and they've just got their big legs, reaching out and forward.
Okay.
And from each of my sort of front appendages, 2 tiny little buzzsaws are going to. And I'm going to try and. I need some new legs. PJ needs his legs.
I'm hellishly uncomfortable by this, but please continue.
And they're going to start to go towards Strahd's pelvis. I'm going to try and get Strahd's legs. I need some legs.
Strahd's legs. Well, he's riding in a mech.
This took a turn. Okay.
Oh God, what have we become?
I need some legs.
I'm gonna make you roll violence for that one, though.
Will he try the legs?
Okay.
God only hopes.
It is an 8.
That is an 8.
Oof.
As you go to start amputating Strahd, the sound can be heard of these buzzsaws reverberating through the inside of it. And you actually watch almost as if it was a liquid, like the internal portions of this stone kind of wrap around Strahd and recover that space to shield him. You can still get through it, but it will take you time at this point as he has protected himself, or presumably the mech has. Friend, as a metagaming note, I'm going to say none of you really know that he climbed in the hole because that sword was in the way. So.
Okay, fair enough.
Not even with tracking stuff.
Well,
Hey, Ray-
I mean, you had no visual on him. If you were trying to track him because you realize he's not there, sure, but
Okay.
I don't know if that's there yet.
As Repaul
go
continues
for it.
to wander around Rhea's mech body, he is going to plug himself in and
Ooh.
assist in targeting the Strahd mech with one of Rhea's currently unused missile collections.
Okay. All right. I like that.
Nice.
And Richter isn't helping very much, so.
So, Repaul, I would like you to roll Rhea's violence stat for that.
Which is?
That is a 1.
Okay.
Okay,
I
let's
didn't
see
know
how
what it was,
goes.
so I figured I'd ask that way.
And that's a 1.
Very nice. So you find the port next to the turret that Van Richter has for the last 2 turns of me rolling, trying to reload, but has no instruction on how to do so. And,
Just here.
Just
Hold my
very clear,
oil.
this button should say, hey!
yeah, so you plug into it, and as he's trying to reload, like you spin the turret, and he kind of loses his footing and hits the ground, or ends up back in his seat. And you reload the cannon, rewrite its like barrel access, and launch another barrage of 3 missiles, which do find purchase in the side of Strahd, which PJ kind of racks your location, and you can feel the whole thing shake as like pieces of stone are coming off the side of this mech on the outside. It's a good shot.
I'm just imagining this
I'm
like
proud of you.
spider-esque Wall-E sort of crawling around in this giant mech as all this exploding rock is flying around.
The R2D2 scream just popped into my head.
Yep. Oh man.
With a really deep southern accent.
Oh, I say, boy.
Okay, so I'm gonna try a double maneuver here. I'm gonna take the sword and try to stab at like the knee on that side, and in the same motion, come in like a downward jab with the shield at like the neck of this mech, sort of at the same time. I'm trying to like pin him in two different places simultaneously.
All right.
Can I
Roll me
combine off
some-
of that?
I like this. I like its idea.
Yeah?
Go ahead and
You
roll.
like it?
Roll.
'Cause-
Are you being sassy, Rhea? Are you just trying
Yes,
to be
I am.
sarcastic?
I'm actually asking for confirmation, but I might have had a little bit too much wine, but
Fair enough.
no, I'm asking that because I have the image of my head of her seeing that your friend is going for the pin. She grabs that arm that already has the blade extended and just turns and tries to jab it into his back.
All right, so we're gonna make this a team maneuver then.
Nice.
Friend, I would like you, because of kind of the nature of what this is, roll violence plus logic. Rhea, I would like you to roll heart for the assist. There is a potential of 3 heart worth of damage here, depending on the amount of ones you get.
Okay, so the violence contains a 3 and a 1, and the logic contains a 2.
Okay.
So I got double ones.
You got double ones. God damn, guys. All right. So in a fantastic display of damage, very like Mecha Captain America kind of thing. You use the blade, which, I mean, I guess is not a Captain America thing, but you pin him down from the bottom up and around, and then use your shield and just collide with the side of his neck and kind of pinion him in an awful spot. You can see it kind of spark and skitter as it is actually heating the stone. Rhea, while he is locked in, you take this blade with extended from the hand that is now on the ground, and you pick it up and just jab it center mast directly through the proverbial sternum of this Mecha Strahd. PJ, you watch as as just the tip, probably like 7 inches worth of this blade, just extends from the space that you were just trying to chop through.
Well.
I don't know if you're removing it or not, Rhea, but like, yeah.
I mean, probably.
Okay, so stab it in. It's there for a second. You can watch it get hot, and then it pulls back out, and you can watch blood kind of pour from that space because it would have gone right through Strahd in the process.
Well, there's only one way to kill a vampire that I am aware of, and that is that vampires cannot deal with a source of running water. Is that correct? And I believe I am. And they'll hit the bar button, and up out of his little mech suit will beep, 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 like a little mini bar. And he'll grab the two soda dispensers. One's Coca-Cola, one's Mountain Dew, and he's going to just jam them into the gap and be like, "Say hello from Uncle Sam."
Yeah.
What is your heart stat, PJ?
0.
God, I'm gonna let this roll off of Rhea and friends' whole like group attack thing. Just take 2d6 for that, and let's see what happens.
Okay. It's a 4 and a 5.
Oh no.
Oh,
Filling him
God,
up
you guys,
with
yeah, you guys
Coca-Cola
are
and Mountain
you're
Dew.
emptying these 2 seltzer like sprayers. Rhea and friend, and presumably Repaul, would watch just like pink carbonated water just like pour out of the front of this blade hole.
Fizzy Strahd.
Oh, but we don't know it's him, right? As far as I know, it's just the Strahd mech.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have to wait and see how the actual mech responds.
Oh,
for a
okay. So
minute
I would
here.
totally, I would get like a question mark on the dome now, like a blue or green question mark, and I'd say, "You're experiencing a leak, target. Please concede."
You find yourself in a sticky situation.
Oh, Lord. So Strahd is he's not doing too well. Give me just a minute here. I need to find out what he can do. You know what he's gonna do? We're gonna get really wild with this. Let's just make it crazy.
More wild than we
It
already
hasn't
are.
been wild yet.
So, from within this mech, you can watch PJ. You probably watch it first because you were closer to the hole. But everybody, stop it! You see the inside exiting these wounds start to glow as Strahd casts polymorph.
Oh.
Kind of already melded with the stone himself. You watch the space glow a little bit and then start to pour this black smoke that wreaths this Mecha Strahd as the form itself grows and evolves into what ends up being basically this amalgamate stone and flesh like gargantuan Strahd equivalent. He's standing probably a good 10-15 feet taller than either you, friend, or Rhea, and has reached his proverbial final form.
Uh-oh.
This isn't even my final form.
As he can now one-hand this massive blade, and you can watch like fireballs being sparked and just kind of held in his offhand as he looks at the five of you. PJ, as a narrative note, because I don't know how to make this not uncomfortable.
I'm inside him now. Like in him.
We're going to establish what happened there in a minute.
Hey, what's going on with PJ here?
I'm in him, and he's just like digivolved.
He went through a full fucking like, oh god, like Super Saiyan, like Gurren Lagann kind of transformation, and you are now like standing on his fucking rocky liver. And it is weird and uncomfortable, and also you can't breathe. I didn't. Yeah, it's just fluid, so I'm sorry. Gonna have to figure a way out of that. But the rest of you, yeah, are looking at a big, angry fucking Strahd who looks down at the three of you, and it's like, I'm sick of all of you. This is my land, and you all need to leave. And he's gonna backhand with his, or like full swipe with his blade. Basically going straight for the throat of Friend, just trying to behead him. Or the glass seal around your dome top. I guess there's not really a throat there. But
There's wiring. I mean.
Hey, can I pull something fucking wild for you, Mads?
You know what?
Yes.
I'm going to say yes
Do it.
before I give you the
Sure.
answer to what just happened. Please go ahead.
Uh-oh.
So while Repaul is plugged into Rhea, he's going to use Rhea as a giant cell tower and start programming the ship's laser cannon to fire down
Yes.
onto the planet.
The Debbie
Ooh.
plane that y'all are
Nuke it
on.
from orbit.
So all of RuPaul's sensors are going off wildly. He has started printing things again. He is like
Gibberish.
So if I'm
Fucking
getting a
wingdings
signal
are
about
pouring out of
this.
him on
all of
paper.
his magnetic tapes are running at very high speeds. He's starting to smoke a little bit because he is not supposed to be doing this much of high mathematical analysis. But
I'm getting
he
a
is
signal about him doing this, right?
he is working with the ship's far superior computer to attempt to launch a laser blast
ground
at
cannon.
Jumbo. So like imagine the ship floating in orbit pulling a Death Star right here.
Would it be reasonable to say that we have some sort of like active connection with said ship?
More
Could
or
we tell
less,
this is
yeah.
happening at all? Okay.
Yes.
Rhea's made it in the past. That's how Rhea got her cool mech. So she has some kind of connection with the ship.
I will
I mean,
definitely
you're
say
connected
yes.
with me,
Yeah,
so
you would
I
know,
automatically.
I am
because
Okay.
R2Ding this shit up right now.
the alert that is going off right now in everybody's like communications system is like DEFCON 1. Like this is we can't get rid of the problem, so we're gonna just level the land.
No, the site from orbit.
So
Okay, the red exclamation point is back, and I'm just saying, improvising, DEFCON 1, oh boy! And I would completely actually morph into like I would lunge off the ground for a second and fold it like somersault in the air, fold into myself and turn into a very large like fighter jet. Like my two legs would fold up into the rockets shooting out of the back and try to just like fly straight up.
okay, so I don't want to have to do this to you, but as you turn into, you're like mid-air
no!
spinning and turning into this fucking jet, and like blinking, and Repaul is smoking, and PJ is trying to figure out what the hell is going on.
He's just hammering the emergency eject. Like, like trying to shoot himself out of Strahd's liver. Like just burst out the front of him. It's like hammering the big red eject button.
So as this happens, Strahd sees you mid-transformation, is going to lift that sword, and just very quickly, for the size of being that he has, just whoom. And out of 3 dice, I rolled 2 1s.
Oh no!
Which will both take a heart out of you, and it just cleaves you in 2. Because that's 4, isn't it?
That is my 4, yeah.
It is 4.
Yeah.
So you start blinking and are going into jet form, and just right through the center of you, and both pieces fall burning and smoldering to the ground, sparking in bits. As Strahd writes himself. Before I let Repaul roll, PJ, you are trying to eject from his body, right?
Absolutely.
How does your eject button work? Aren't you attached to those legs?
So the legs are like on a like ring, like a metal ring that I'm on, and like that's where all the like gizmos come out from. But the bottom of my body is basically like a little like tiny little rocket.
Okay.
Yes.
It will just like kind of like when the spaceship goes up and then the boosters like drop away. It's kind of designed that the ring with the legs and all the fancy gizmos and whirring bits that will just like drop away, and I'll just chunk like my own little rocket straight out. So I'm just a torso with like a little metal seal on the bottom and arms that I can like crawl away with.
Okay, fair enough. So, give me.
I can make the argue for a logic roll.
I can make the argue for a logic roll. It feels like a heart roll, but I'll give you logic because I'm scared of what's going to happen if you stay in his liver.
Well, we'll see what the dice say. A 3, a 5, and a 2.
Oh no.
Okay, so you fire these rockets and your legs detach. You don't have anything on the top of you that is particularly bladed. So you fly a little ways before you hit a muscle wall. And then just kind of floating in his viscera. And the legs have clamped down on the side of his liver. So you're now legless, just kind of
I'm like
floating.
trying to swim through his like bodily goop, just like.
Well, we gave it an attempt. Repaul, I'm gonna because of what you were doing and how you were doing it, I would like you to roll. Rhea, what is your violence stat?
I have a 1.
Okay, Repaul, what is your logic stat? You're muted.
We were getting a lot of echo. I had to mute myself for a second. I have 2 logic.
Okay, so I'm gonna couple those two together. Roll 3d6 for this first signal.
I have 2 2s and then a 5.
Okay. So that laser is working on its targeting and is booting up, but is not ready for fire yet. Rhea, what are you doing?
Friend is down. We still know that PJ is inside of.
I mean, you
Mecha.
don't really know that PJ is inside of him.
PJ is somewhere.
if
We're
you're-
not quite
Yeah,
sure.
you're not sure where
Hey
he is.
PJ, let's do a ping here. Hey PJ, where are you? We're robots. We have comms. Come on, guys.
He just ejected
Oh.
his comms.
All my comms are in my legs.
He's just
This
a
seems
body
like a
with an
design
O-ring
flaw.
right now. He's like the top of a magic bullet blender who just
Mhm.
laughed and all of the blender part is on the is like stuck to the dude's liver.
Would you like a logic roll to see if I can pick up another human signature? Considering what's left is his human part.
I mean, if you're
Or
able
a
to see
heart.
that my
I
legs
can make
are
an
in there-
argument for heart because I'm caring about my teammate.
I will give you an argument for heart. Go ahead and roll
Okay.
heart, since you are looking for your friend.
There is a 1 in there.
All right. So yeah, it takes a minute to realize that his comms are not responding. So you instinctively look for his biosignature because he's the only person who has any kind of humanity left to him. I mean, and even that's arguable because he's a incredible like capitalist and oligarch, or oligarch, but like
Hate it so much.
yeah, well, you know, at least he's no longer an arachno-capitalist.
Heyo.
But you do end up finding his particular body signature, just a little bit adjacent to where Strahd's appendix ought to be, were it not a useless organ and not part of him. But he's somewhere in the side here.
Okay. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to try to... If it has to be that I rip out that chunk of Strahd, I will do it. But I'm trying to get PJ out of there because if Repaul is doing all of that based off my systems, then that alert's coming up.
Oh yeah,
So-
you know that he's ready to airstrike Barovia.
You know what? We're going to try to get out as many people as we can. I'm sorry, friend. I am very sorry. You have a cloud backup waiting for you back at the Mecha Dudes base.
There you go.
But yeah, that's what we're gonna try to do. And while we still have time for that laser to wind up.
Okay. So go ahead and roll. Yeah, give me a heart plus violence roll as you're ready to rip PJ from Strahd's actual body.
That's a less dice. We're not rolling that one. That is a 3, a 5, and a 6.
Okay. So you take a swing in. If any of these are successful, you will not make it, and you will take damage. If it is not successful, then you will not be parried, and you will be able to remove PJ.
I have auto sets for people to eject, so it's
but
fine.
you take your good hand and take a swing into the side approximately where you know PJ is. And in the same response, Strahd reaches out with that hand, very large, that is burning, ready to just catch and melt back the arm that is trying to reach at him. And there were no ones in that. You managed to duck out of the way of that swipe to catch and grab at his side and pull at the stone and flesh that is there. And as it does, you just kind of rake through and scoop a chunk. And PJ, you see the light of a cloudy day again as you and a bunch of viscera and stewing
So
meat
smell of
is
freedom.
thrown across the landscape as you kind of roll and impact the dirt.
I'm loving it.
Just a torso and some O-rings.
If there's one thing I hate more than a communist, it's a vampire mecha dude that's messing with my friends.
So I will clarify that if she went in with that hand is meant to encapsulate him, since he has been detached from his O-rings. So that is basically function as its own eject.
Okay,
to get out of the area.
we're gonna retcon that just a touch then. So she takes a swing and scoops through this, and basically a hole in the center of the palm of this mech like unwinds and opens up, and in the same kind of like vacuum function that the tubes at the bank do, you get like it catches your O-ring, writes you into it, and then you, along with some Strahd viscera, are then sucked through the arm and then up into the cockpit where you are attached to a cockpit seat.
Welcome, we've been expecting you.
Holy shit.
Now we just need the
I guess
last
we were all on
vestiges of
different
friends
time
to
zones.
join, and we'll just be one giant mech altogether.
You know what? How's that wind up going?
Good Christ. I love it.
How's that laser wind up going? Because he's the
go ahead
next
and roll
one.
the same 3 dice for me.
I rolled a 1. I have a singular 1 in there.
Okay. A 1 is a success as far as the rules are concerned. So, friend, you are a smoldering husk on the ground. You probably won't remember this particular fight, but your friends can fill you in based on your backup up at home.
There you go.
You all get
Say,
confirmation.
we gotta
that
grab
this
his black
laser-
box.
Yeah, grab his black box before you leave.
It's in the dome portion.
It's that magnetized.
Yeah, it's just
magnetized.
a magnetized
Reach your
titty.
hand
Just grab
out.
it and take it off.
There you go.
No, so you all get confirmation that this laser is charged, and you can see the bing of this light, and it starts to just beam down towards the center of Barovia where you are, and you all, in Ryu's mech of what she has left power-wise, are ejected from this space as this massive fucking, like, Star Destroyer laser hits the center of Barovia. And as you were ejected into space, I apologize for everybody who loves this campaign and all the people, because you watched the demi-plane that this was just crumble and fucking implode before. And there's
Glass it up.
nothing.
We just leveled the entire thing.
Holy cats.
We came here looking for
ground.
one kill. We just annihilated
We got all of them.
hundreds of
There was-
thousands, millions.
Mecha dudes, do not fuck around.
There once were trees and mountains and cities and villages and castles. There's now just emblazoned into the ground a huge stars and stripes.
There you go.
There
The
is-
glasses appear on my dome and just this sort of sad blink as we're flying up and away from the level that we've now created.
and as
In
immediately,
bad 8-bit music, you hear bum bum bum.
That one's for Uncle Sam.
And as you all return to the headquarters of the Mecha Dudes, friend, as soon as any of you are destroyed, save for PJ is in a pickle if he dies, but friend, as soon as any of the mech persons are destroyed, you are immediately backed up into a secondary form of yourself on the HQ, so you are actually there to be able to welcome the three back when they return to the hangar, as you watch the demiplane of Barovia just immolate into the nothingness that is the star space around it. There is not a thing left.
My small 9-inch screen, since I'm in my original form now, will have the like slightly off kilter smiley face. We're still looking at like an 8-bit image, so it's just slightly off from the normal smiley face. And he'll say, "I always wanted to do that."
I am not sure we could call this mission a success, but we did end his reign of terror.
In the hands of us, terror is never safe. Yeah, I would declare war on it if it weren't such a meaningless statement.
Ooh. Whoa.
We've had
Shots
some
fired.
weird narratives in this session.
We've also set up the fact that evidently Mecha Dudes is just the like corporate version of all of America in the 32nd century. So
It's just
33rd
a
century.
prequel to
It was just
Warhammer.
Yup.
Red versus Blue, Mother of Invention vibes.
Woo.
Oh man.
Well, there you have it, folks. That is probably the first and last time the Mecha Dudes will ever see Curse of Strahd, because y'all just got rid of it. Next
This
time
is
we're
the-
gonna go to
this is the
Saltmarsh.
only Curse of Strahd campaign that I ever want to be a part of.
Oh,
I hope
Next
this
step
gets
is Tomb of
recognized as the seminal
Annihilation.
TPK Curse of Strahd. Like when people say TPK and Curse of Strahd in one sentence, this is what they think of.
This is gonna be.
That's what I want.
I'm sorry, we're
yeah,
taking
we
over the
played
charts,
Curse of
guys.
Strahd. We had a TPK, our whole party died. It's like, yeah, but did you kill everyone?
Literally
Just
everyone in
right
Barovia.
at 'em.
Oh man, I'd call that a complete bastardization if there ever was one.
God damn it. Oh, I love all of you so much. I'm so glad I got to be a part of this.
Same.
Well, hell yeah, guys. That actually wraps the session and brings us to the second portion of our show right on time, which, I mean, we can start with a resounding, how was that? What was...
Holy shit!
Because that is a weird... Okay, so for context for everybody, if I pull up Mecha Dudes has the whole page. I will read it to you. It's got check 3 boxes: violence, logic, and heart. And then you have 4 hearts, or you have 3 boxes on each violence, logic, and heart that you can check out. Then you have 4 hearts, and it says check a heart when you get hurt. When all hearts are checked, you're dead. And then it says, when an action's outcome is uncertain, roll a d6 for every checked box and a relevant stat. A 1 is a success. All players make a Mecha Dude. GM runs them through an official D&D adventure that was illegally obtained. Make up rules as needed by the Highland Paranormal Society. That is the whole game.
It also looks like it was all drawn in MS Paint. So
Yeah.
So Nate, as far as I am aware, the Highland Paranormal Society designer, hand draws all of his stuff. All of his
Amazing.
stuff is great. I love it so much. It's so much fun. From my understanding, he was actually drawing his own Mecha Dude for this session before he had to bail, which I would have loved to have seen. But that is the whole game. And what a ride for a single mechanic.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just the most ridiculous stuff we could think of, right? And there were all sorts of flavors of it.
So much fun. Holy
Yeah.
smokes.
This is what happens when you don't give me rules. I'm like, yes, I get to fuck with you as much as I want.
There's no rules for anything, and I get to make it. Okay, sure. What can my brain come up with? This is
Yep.
dangerous.
Yeah, you're
I
like,
do
got
have
a
to
chicken
say-
grease hole. Let's just dump that. And I'm like, fuck it.
I
Okay.
do have to say this was definitely a good stretch for someone like me. So I was on, I think, the first Top Shelf that we did,
Yeah, you were
and
the
that
premiere
was
episode.
that was my first legitimate experience of any TTRPG outside of D&D. And this is the second. And I have to say, this, even within all of my perusings in D&D and when we played Heart, this is the most aggressive improvising experience I've ever had, and it was an absolute blast. Just throw it's caution to the wind, do whatever, make it as ridiculous as possible. It was so much fun.
So I'm sure JK will agree with me here. This is why I strongly propose things like Monster of the Week, because that level of like, you're making up the story. It's not about your story that you are playing with the GM. You are actively making all the decisions that like lead to the actual story. Is so much more fulfilling than like a lot of D&D. No, like no, you know.
There
Think
are
of the word now.
places.
No offense to D&D players, because there's lots of excellent campaigns and whatnot that are doing spectacular things, and I really enjoy a lot of D&D as well. But when you have like very limited or like very kind of free rules, you can do a lot cooler things. So
yeah, well, and I'll write on that just a little bit too, because I feel like that's not anybody's fault other than the fact that D&D does not facilitate that. And that's, I think, very important because, for example, like I would die if I had the time and ability to be part of Luca's
The Curse of Strahd game.
Curse of Strahd campaign on Saturday mornings. Like, I would love that so much. The amount of work and love that she's put into that makes me so happy personally. I would adore being a part of that. And 5e D&D has a lot of good things going for it as far as like the amount of consistency and direction that it has as far as a rule set. It very much establishes exactly what you can and should do to make this a very enriching kind of strategic, puzzly, tactical map kind of combat thing. But what it doesn't do, and to Proper's comment there, is that it does not really, it's not designed or really doesn't allow for the players to be part of the narrative process. They get to be part of the narrative process and role-playing amongst themselves and be part of like how that goes. But the fact that there are hundreds of stories and kind of the stereotype on Twitter and things of conversations of like, I am a DM and I build this, month's worth of work and stuff, and then my players want to do this thing, and then it just like doesn't work, and then I'm frustrated or whatever. That's because D&D is built like that. If you play something like this, or something like Monster of the Week, or something like Iron and Lies, it's not that, because they're built to be games that everybody is a part of the story, and you kind of just, the GM picks these little points and makes fun reaction stuff to all of them and gets to tell the story. But the players are building the story. And it's a very different vibe. So, like, I don't want to personally shit on D&D because there are and I'm sure Proper didn't either. I understand exactly what he said.
I'm not saying you can't do spectacular things or
right.
improv a lot more than you could. I feel like some of the I think it's really comes down to the character building stuff, which we saw in today's game, where like every time PJ Hawthorne pulled something fucking weird out of his little ring of legs, we were like, this is choice as hell.
Yeah.
But that wasn't like written in your character sheet that you had like 2 soda stream bottles like hanging out there. Like, we didn't have to worry about like, did you have that specific spell? You were just like, no, you know what? Fuck it.
Yeah, D&D takes a lot more work to be good at improv.
Yeah, exactly.
This encourages improv from everybody in whatever way you want to manifest that.
There's 2 different types of fulfillment when it comes to systems like that. Things that are very mechanic heavy, like D&D, Mutants and Masterminds, etc. They have their own story and things that you can build with around it, but they are very reliant on mechanics, which can be enriching in their own way, depending on the story that you're telling and the table that you're with. But if you're doing something like this, where all of us are just here to like be goofy and explore new systems, having something that's really rules light and we can just do whatever the hell what pops into our brains, that's fucking fantastic. I love it.
I'm sure as the GM too, JK, you had a chance to do also whatever the fuck you wanted. So,
Oh, absolutely.
You had a little bit of limitation because of how Curse of Strahd is set up, but
Right.
you could still execute it how you wanted to.
I mean, also, there's no rules in that entire thing that you read us from that say how you have to play.
No,
so you
exactly.
can do.
Like you made a choice by
No.
saying, "Oh, he's casting polymorph or fireball, etc."
Yeah. Oh,
but
mind you, I was reading from the book. Those are things he is supposed to actually be able to do. But I was rolling, like, while you guys were playing, I was regularly rolling dice, anywhere between 3 and 7 dice at a time, just like finding determinations for answers for myself while you were going. It's very cool, because Chrissy actually has got a great point in the chat. It's like, if you play a game rules heavy, like D&D or Mutants and Masterminds, there's kind of some stereotyped assumption, and usually it happens, but even not intentionally, that the players are going to break the game somehow. It doesn't matter what you design, something's going to go wrong. Games like this mean it does not matter what goes, because nothing will go wrong. You just do.
you just build it as you go.
Yeah, and I very much enjoy those. Like, I don't know what the hell happened to Baba Lysaga, but she's dead now. Y'all just left the planet. Like, fuck it. Like, and there's a lot to be said about that kind of thing, because one is very much leaning towards like how one would play The Witcher 3 on PlayStation. And one is very much towards, we're going to tell a collective story via, like, being around a campfire and, like, I don't know. I feel like role-playing games on a table are designed to give an opportunity to tell a story. But D&D a lot of the times feels like the players are playing a video game that the DM designed. And that's great. I adore it, and I love running D&D. I like playing D&D, but it's not the same feel. So this one's very interesting, because it's like, yeah, take the thing, very specifically take the thing that is like playing a video game where you just kind of run with whatever the DM made, and then fuck it up. Like, let's just break down that concept and say, nah, do whatever you want. We don't care. And then you go into it, and you just do, and you see what happens, and it's real weird to do, but I had a blast. Like, this was tons of fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've been talking a lot, and I apologize for this. I did want to say this fun thing, because as I say in the Roundhouse campaign, it's the one game that I like to not do well. Like when I roll a failure, I always roll with it because it's more interesting. Similarly, when I said the laser from the ship, I accidentally threw in the Death Star analogy, and I did not intend it to blow up the entire planet. But when Mads went along with it, I was like, here we are. I guess this is happening now.
Well, that's the beauty of improv, isn't it? A slip of the tongue from what you're describing, even if it comes out completely differently. I'm like, well, that's what I've said now. That's what's happening.
Exactly.
Yep.
It's exactly
what I
same
said,
thing.
and therefore it is canon.
There
That's
we
what
go.
happens in fails games.
Because that wasn't that framework. Like we're saying with D&D. And I think the reason D&D is so immensely popular is it gives you so many options in 5e to build something that you can really like. It's quite a malleable character. You know, you can build fighters in one way or another, or spellcasters. Basically, get whatever you want out of it. But once you've built it, that's what you've got. It doesn't. Once you've designed what you're playing, like how many times have you been halfway through a campaign and thought, oh man, I really wish I'd could do more of this, or could do kind of what that character do there, or I've got this great plan, but there's no way I can execute it. Whereas in something like this, so it's just like, okay, well, I can, within reason, pretty much do whatever I need to do, as long as I can justify it in my own head, and like, boom, we roll and see how this works out. But it meant I was always thinking about the situation I was in and going, okay, what can my guy be doing here? Rather than going, I'm a big tanky fighter, all I can do is punch things because that's what my stat block says I do, or I don't have the items to do it or the skill set to do it. I was there going, okay, what's around me? What would he be thinking in this situation? How can I, come to this and solve these problems? Which just gives you so much more, like, D&D gives you a lot of options, but what gives you more options is no options and just a void of
Yeah, well,
creativity.
And to the kind of counter, I'm sorry, we'll get to you in just a sec, Rhea. But Meg, sorry, we're out of that now.
Forgotten your
Rhea,
names.
Meg, I don't care what you call me,
It
man.
doesn't matter. No, one of the interesting things, and I think as a kind of counter to that too, Al, is the idea that like,
Raid.
no options.
Hello,
Ooh,
everyone.
hey, welcome, folks. We're chatting about Mecha Dudes and the fact that the no rules kind of improv function of we just dropped into 5th edition Curse of Strahd with a bunch of giant mechs and anime folks and 80s robots and things is a whole wild experience. It's great. But no, it's interesting because no rules as well requires a certain kind of table, and based on that too, like it requires a certain kind of folks, which is also why I always cast the top shelf personally, as opposed to putting casting calls in it for TPK, is because there is a level of buy-in that I have to know that I have from players to say you're not going to do anything that is outside of your character rule breaking, because objectively I can't say no to it. Like that's kind of the nature of improv, is I have to still manage those and be a little bit of a lawyer. And if I know people are playing a game that are bought into saying, I've built a character to be this, I'm going to make sure I stick in these reins, but I'll do whatever I want in this, pen, is perfect. And that's really how these kind of games excel. So I applaud all of you for sticking within your realm as much as you did. I very much appreciate everybody's work. Like everybody at TPK is wonderful, but I do like casting specific folks for specific games, because there is stuff that y'all just do really, really well.
I'd like to pile on that a little bit, and forgive me, guys, if I'm recalling incorrectly, but if I am correct, I don't believe I have played a game with Proper or Meg or Al at this until today.
Nope.
And I gotta say, thinking back to the last few hours, going through be some mechs go, and basically what we just played through was 3 fights that sort of escalated from wolves to final form Mecha Strahd. I gotta say, a whole lot of fun character came out of everybody throughout that whole thing.
Yeah.
That was entertaining as hell to watch all of us just sort of like figure out our characters in the midst of mech fighting throughout the whole thing.
Absolutely.
It was an absolute blast. And this is something that I will applaud you with, Mads, because I really do appreciate that you are very good at actually casting your tables, because you have a very good understanding of who will mesh well together. And
Agreed.
I greatly appreciate that you threw me in here tonight, but because this was a lot of fun.
Right. No, and I'm glad you got to come play, because for context, we lost Foxy tonight.
Foxy.
Yeah, one of our players.
Yeah.
I was very excited for him to play. He would have been great too. But he's got his second vaccine shot, so he's down for the count right now.
He's in the rough time.
For good reason, though. Go get vaccinated.
My first one was fine. My second one I'm very scared about.
Yeah.
And anyone that comes from a sort of improv background, though, like knows that it's definitely a team game. Like improv is a team game, 100%.
Hey,
You can't do it on your own. And the GM or the narrator or whatever, the story weaver in some description is definitely part of that team. And we've got to work with you as much as you've got to work with us, and making sure that everything makes sense and kind of chugs along. So
the GM is also a player.
The GM is also a player, and
don't let me get on my soapbox, because I will.
No, this kind of game shows that a lot, though. This kind of game very much plays it in a way that like reinforces that the GM is a player, because y'all are kind of on a level playing field. There's only one fucking rule in the whole game.
Roll a 1.
Make it up. That's all it is. Make it up and roll a G6.
Can I actually ask, because you mentioned improv, and I don't know Magic's backstory much because I've never played with him, but you said that you had never played a game that wasn't like D&D, or had very rarely done that. one of the I will defend. I don't hate D&D, not completely.
However,
I'll defend it in a certain way because it's great for people who aren't who aren't used to being an improv or used to embodying a character or doing theater shit like I've done for my entire fucking life. And so it's great in that way because it gives you specific rules to do all the cool stuff without having to if you're a beginner, you can fall back on all of those mechanics and still play the game. It just I think it's more interesting when you really sink into the role play. So as someone who is not used to a rules light system, or I'm sure you DM constantly, so I'm sure you're used to it by now, but what was the jump from pretty rules heavy gameplay to this magic?
It's a mixed bag. So one of the reasons I do enjoy D&D so much is because of, I mean, you nailed it on the head, the possibility of quote unquote falling back on mechanics and a template if there are uncertainties in place. Removing that sort of in a way safety net was for me a little bit scary, to be completely honest. I do have past experience with performance in various ways, but not anywhere near the same kind of performance that improv, the quick thinking, the synergizing with other people, reacting to other things that are being said and happening at the same time. That's brand new territory in my world. And it's in this case, it turned out to be a whole lot of fun. And I would say there was nothing negative about the experience at all. I definitely have a deeper appreciation for other systems, especially more rules light systems now because of this. So yeah, I think there's definitely some big positives coming out of it.
Good to hear. Yeah, it's wild because it's a fun conversation to have right now because I started. And I think I've mentioned it on the top shelf before. I know it's something I've talked about, so I apologize that I'm constantly repeating myself. But I started with the idea when I started TPK, and I would mention it to people. I was very open about it, that D&D was the only system you ever needed. I could hack any theme or setting or time zone into D&D. I could play a modern D&D game and put guns in it. I could make a sci-fi thing. I own Dark Matter, which I still want to run as a campaign sometime because it was really well written. We could do whatever we wanted with the D&D rule set, and it was great. And this game says, now what if we take D&D and hack its system? What if we wanted to make? What if we wanted to?
What if we hack it and make it nothing?
Yeah, well, yeah. So in an extreme example, exactly that. What if we hack it and just tear it to pieces, and we do some wild shit? But I think in a weird way, the system also says, what if you wanted to play the game where you built, you had your same 6 stats. You got strength, con, dex, charisma, intelligence, and Wisdom, thank you. And you had them all as check boxes. And it was just a D6 dice pool. And you had 4 boxes, and as you leveled up, you just got to check another one. And you just kind of went with that. And that was all you had. And your inventory was arbitrated, and your spells were arbitrated. You could play an entire game of D&D in module, seriously, without the restriction of all of the rules, and do whatever you wanted as a group and make it a role-playing thing that was super easy to do, that was, something else entirely while still enjoying the story and all of the vast lore that Wizards of the Coast put out for D&D, because I've read the hell out of the lore. There's a lot of stuff that I very much enjoy. Fuck, my name comes from it. My real name, not Mads, but my personal actual given name. But it doesn't have to be rules heavy to enjoy a very heavy or intensive story. At the end of the day, what you do with the dice and what you do on the table is determinant on who you have at the table and how you want, how set down into place you want everything you're doing to be. How form-fitted or how well-tailored do you want the rules to be, or do you want to explore a story based on, you know, whatever comes to mind and make that a collaborative effort? And I think this game is designed to explore that in a hyperbolic sense.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, I kind of feel like it's kind of like Meg said, you know, very good at picking the right players for the game. And I think that's one of the hardest things to do, is if you're putting down a certain idea of a way of playing, to get people that will on board on that and to be able to build on it. Because I thought it was quite interesting that I'm the only guy, you know, the person that's playing that's not a GM. You know, the other four are all games masters in their own right that are running things, and you know, three of you have all, you know, run games that I've been a player in, and you know, you guys will know, and you know, the folks that were watching tonight will see that my certain way of like thinking about role play games and things is rather than, you know, in traditional D&D, when someone goes, it's your turn, what do you do? I'll describe a scene rather than what I'm doing, because I find it easier to communicate that. And rather than looking down my stat sheet and going, oh, I've got the following spell, that's a bonus action. What evil? Then I can move 4 feet and use my action. Oh, I'd rather describe a scene and then go, how much of this can I do or not do? Which for some people, and I've had, you know, people in games just lose their mind with me. They cannot deal with me because I much rather would go, I want to do this ridiculous thing. How do I need to make this happen? Rather than kind of just ticking the boxes, the rule settings. And conveniently, the three of you, bless you, have been very, very patient with me.
So that's
on proper face, like, you know, it's giving it away. But yeah, like a game like this, that's just a lot more like, let's see what happens and then we'll roll whether you fail or whether you succeed. Like, certainly plays to my strengths a lot more and just allowed a lot more of that kind of a lot more of an open way of kind of thinking.
Yeah.
Okay, fail versus succeed is interesting because we had a 1 in 6 chance of technically succeeding. Because the only rule in the entire set was a
had
1
to
in
roll
6
a 1.
success. So JK
But didn't we roll a lot of them though?
Well,
like,
that's the thing,
I
we
was
rolled a lot of
surprised
ones.
how many ones came up.
Well, JK was kind and said that like a 2 was a like not quite success, but not a failure.
You want to know why?
Yeah.
We did roll a lot of ones though.
You want to know why? Because as many systems as I've played, and as many descriptions from different designers as I've read, and as many things that I've run, fail versus success is boring as fuck.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you say, I need to roll, and this is going to sound like shitting on D&D, but it's not, because I do like the system. But there are flaws in the concept of fail versus success, because if I roll...
Don't get me started on 2d6 systems. I will go off because
if
they are
I roll-
amazing.
If I roll a d20
Yeah.
and my modifier is a +5, and I roll a 9 and I get a 14 total, and the guy's armor class was 15, and my DM looks at
It
me and
sucks.
says, well, you didn't hit. And then I have
Yeah.
to wait 45 goddamn minutes for the next 5 people to go through
Yeah.
their turns. I'm going to
Yeah.
fall to pieces. Like, I
Been
love
there.
D&D for what it does, and I can buy into that personally, but I also know that if I'm not, like, if I'm not medicated as I am for ADHD, like, when I forget to take my ADHD medication and I'm playing a game, that will drive me through the wall, and I will look like I'm not engaged because I have to sit and wait. Like, my turn didn't mean anything. So
I know.
a 1 on a success is great. I'll give it to you 100%. But partial successes or something, not even a partial success, even if it's a failure should still move the story forward.
Yeah.
If a
Yep.
failure means you got hit, something still happened. Something still changed. But something should always happen on a failure, regardless of if it's a partial success or a partial failure. Otherwise, if you roll the wrong thing, nothing moves. And and as we saw here, like, I don't put music in a lot of the last bunches of my top shelf episodes, because a lot of them have been very roleplay heavy and we don't need it because everybody's having a conversation the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is really, really important. to note is like that's been a conscious decision the last 2 games that I haven't put music into it. It was an accident for Necronautilus, but Iron and Lies in this one haven't put music in because I knew we'd be talking the whole time. It didn't matter. Like, we're having a good time. But if I were to play a game where, you know, there is just failures and people have to just kind of sit,
Right.
you know, those awkward silences are no fun for everybody else, you know? So, yeah, mixed successes, partial successes, success plus stress in the case of heart, or, you know, things like that are always, I think, more beneficial to the story because in the end of the day, regardless of how crunchy a system is like D&D, a roll should only be done if something is moving. You know,
Yeah.
if that roll, regardless of what that roll is, that roll should move something forward. So yeah,
This
I
is-
kind of said fuck the rule a little bit for the one page of the,
The
one
one
rule that
rule.
we
Fuck
had.
it.
Because I wanted everybody to move forward. You know, I wanted that
Hey,
kind of flow.
The
said
second
yes
rule was
and.
make up rules as
Yeah.
you go. Yep.
Yeah. Checks out.
So
No.
like, I'm gonna expand a little bit because
for it.
I've had a
wait.
different experience because primarily I've played Mutants and Masterminds. So it's another system that's kind of rule heavy, but it's a different set of rules from D&D. I was in a couple of D&D one-shots, once with Harper's, once with Turk. I think we were in, and we were
That
in
was
Monster
D&D,
Mash
yeah.
together as well.
Yep.
And
Monster Mash was a
I
good
struggled. I absolutely did struggle because it was so, it felt very restrictive because I was coming from Mutants and Masterminds where you could build kind of what you wanted, but still with limitations, which that's the same kind of conversation that I've ended up having. I've been in 3 different Mutants and I should say 3, but it's actually more like 5 or 6. I've had one going for 5 years now. We have our 5-year anniversary in May.
Jesus Christ.
Yes, it is a very long running story. I'm gonna stop before I get on that, but
some Marvel shit, and that's too much. Like,
it is literally based in Marvel DC universe. So I'm gonna stop right now.
oh god,
But
yeah, all right, I'm gonna stop talking. Too.
it's so, and it's a conversation that I've ended up having with my GMs running my own games and other GMs in that long-term group that decided to run using the same system, whether or not we want to run a story that we have written as GMs or if we want to build it together. And that is a very important conversation, in my opinion, to have with your players because there is no, my original GM has come a very long way. He has progressed a lot, but he was originally very, very hard focused on making the story that he wrote go to the letter. Which,
I mean, that's how I started too.
Yeah, we all start like that. That's very
everybody
much,
starts that way.
Everyone starts like that, and it's something that you really do grow into. And that's something that I learned coming into TPK is how to actually broaden that and turn it into a collaborative experience. But going into that, like I said, I've been in multiple Mutants and Masterminds campaigns. They've all been run differently, and even with the same set of rules, just depending on the table that you're sitting with. Some people fail, for example, most of the time you don't roll. It's like, hey, I can do this thing. He's like, yeah, sure, you get some information or not. But I've also had my original GM who's still very roll heavy. It's different experiences. And then coming into something like this where it's like you get free reign to do whatever. This has been fucking enlightening. I love it.
So
Agreed.
I'm here for it.
I want to touch on 2 things on that. One, but because I want to tangent to a different thing too, because I'm pretty keen on getting my players out of here at 10. Just because everybody has a life, so I like concise sessions. But
Optimistic.
Make me stop talking.
So 2 notes. 1, that is why the top shelf exists. This all is 100% why the top shelf exists, because I believe, regardless of what session, what DM, what anything runs, there is a game out there for everybody. Everything from, we rolled literally no dice last episode and just talked, to this, where we roll just a pool of real simple dice and steal shit from another story. Like, at the end of the day, if you are wanting to make stories with somebody and you need some help to do so in a role-playing setting where you want to feel like you're playing a game, there is a game for literally everybody, and that is what we are here to explore. That's why this show exists, is every episode we want to tackle a different topic or a different kind of game or a different kind of rule set, so you can get a feeling of what you want to tailor in to be like, yeah, I like D6 dice pool systems. I like Roll20 roll under systems. I like, you know, the fucking weirdness that was Heart. The resistance system is great. Like, now that I'm looking into it, and the fact that Spencer Campbell has made a resistance light system for Corvid Court and for seasons and shit is so good. The thing that we're going to be playing next time for Frame is so good. But it depends on your storytelling style. It depends on your table. And it depends on what you as a GM want to invest in and what you as a player want to buy into. So regardless of what it is, you should explore that. Like, find the thing that sticks and run with that. Doesn't matter what you're playing or what system or whatever. Like, there's a thing for everybody, because storytelling is a human element. Like, we all want to tell stories. That's something that's always been with us forever. So something as simple as this, you know, created a really cool episode where everybody could synergize and be a part of everybody's story and character grow with nothing more than chicken-wielding spider robots and Terminators that turned into giant Terminators and
I got to play me a genuine American.
Dr. Poovian C-3PO R2-D2 dude and an Evangelion, you know, android mech. Like, we found a way to make all of that shit fit in a gothic Earth medieval setting to where it was an enjoyable experience. That is the weirdest sentence I've ever fucking said, but I am glad it exists.
Y'all, I joined this game like an hour and a half before it was gonna run.
Yeah.
I knew nothing about it.
It's true.
Oh,
yeah, you filled in right beforehand, and I very much appreciate you for it, and I'm glad you were here for it.
I am here for it.
I want to ask, this is a short thing that I'm going to end up talking to the creator on, and I promise you I'll find the time to do an episode or an interview with him, because I want to talk about it. Because we didn't get time this episode, but I want to ask you all this particular question. If you want to elaborate, make it short, but like, I do want an answer from everybody. On Itch, on the Highland Paranormal Society, one of the reasons I wanted to play this game is because I scrolled down to it, and the picture was the game. It was that short. But the charge for the game was $50. For a system that was hand-drawn and has 1 rule, 3 stats, and 4 health, no level-up system, no story behind it other than steal D&D shit, it was $50. Was purchasing that for the sake of a table worth it?
I fucking knew it.
Oh, man.
But
It
the
is
thing
worth
is,
it to support TTRPG artists. The price tag's a bit high for a 2 megabit file, but I appreciate that he is standing up for himself in getting paid for his content.
I very much appreciate it, because I think he did it with a purpose of pointing out, like, yes, you should pay your artist for what they are doing, but also the bottom line is use shit illegally. Commit crimes.
Stuff you steal from.
Commit crimes and take it.
To be fair, I mean, this kind of thing I've spoken about on my personal stream before, about like games prices and different things like that. And what it comes down to for me is, like, you know, with anything, it's value. And I think there's 5 of us here that played that game, and we played it for what, like
3 hours?
3 hours.
3 hours.
3 hours
So-
plus, a little bit.
Would you say you had $10 worth of fun?
Yes.
Yes.
I did. I definitely did. So was it worth $50 for 5 of us to have 3 hours worth of giggling? Yeah, hell's yeah, it was. I'd pay that. Yeah, easy. That's no question. For a night with friends around the table to have a laugh and a couple of drinks, $10 each. Sure. I'd
Yep.
pay more than that to get into clubs that I've hated. Like, yeah, easy $50. Easiest $50 I've spent this week.
I like Al's breakdown of that. I would say split between the 5 of us that are here. I'd say it was worth the 50. And as like a one-off thing, I don't think that I would. It certainly wouldn't be something that I'd be like, hey, let's play this again a whole bunch of times. But again, as like a one-time, maybe a once-in-a-while time thing, I would say it's worth it as a collective group. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say this to it, and I appreciate everybody's responses, because my question was, would you buy it for $50? It was it worth $50? And I
Right.
like everybody's responses, because at the end of the day, you know, if I'm going on a Saturday, $12.50 for a movie ticket, 5 friends going in, easily more than $50, not even including popcorn. This same time or longer worth of runtime, we paid for our own drinks. We all went in looking fly as hell, and we had a great fucking time. Like, an artist's value is what they bring to your table. Pay your tabletop creators; they're great.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
and if you need to take $10 from all of your friends to pay somebody $50 for a game, knowing they get a livable wage for it, fucking go for it. Like, that's far better. My game up right now, because I don't know what I'm doing with it yet, is running for like $6.66 on itch. You can find it at
I
JK
love
Madigan.
it.
Well, I mean,
love
it's an 80s horror thing. It's got, you know, some hellish themes, so it
Amazing.
made sense. I thought the pun was funny. You can find it on itch for me, but or from me if you are interested. It's from Raven's Crest. I've done some mini episodes on TPK. But at the end of the day, it's like, talk about what artists are worth and pay them accordingly, because they are far and hellishly underpaid in every industry, tabletops included. I have no need to go into a soapbox on that, but if you've got 6 friends hanging out for 4 hours, everybody can afford a couple bucks, and then it makes somebody else's job easier. So we'll get into that more. I also talked about it in an interview with Chris Bissett about Zine Quest for 2021. It's a YouTube exclusive interview. Go watch that as well. It's great. But yeah, I'll probably talk about why Nate chose to do it the way that he did. I would love to dig into some more, because again, objectively, I picked this game because I saw that and went, wow, that's an exorbitant price tag for, you know, 2 megabits worth of file that is, you know, a single page with barely any words on it. But I had a blast. I'd buy in for that.
This is the first time that game's probably ever been run.
Yeah, so
He said it. He said it in chat that this is the first time the game's been run.
I mean, he's never played it, so
Yeah.
we have
So
played it. Yeah,
if
this
you go
would
and
have been the
interview him,
first time that Nate
you've got
has
to get him
ever
to
played it.
watch this back.
Uh-huh.
You've got to watch it with him and get a director's commentary on the video, and then
Ooh,
do the
there you go.
Yes.
Yeah, so
That's your interview.
And
gotta
make
send
sure
it
he
to
watches
me.
this before you do the interview.
and then quiz him.
it's great. No, I love being able to play things that people have not played on stream, because I want people to explore more of, you know, my friends or the community that I'm meeting on Twitter about the tabletop groups, because there's lots of great artists out there making cool shit. But let's go around the table. Let's get some